All right, guys, it has been a minute since I've been on Twitch. It's been quite a journey. Had a lot of things to get sorted out. One of the things I always said was don't get started with streaming until you're sure you have all your ducks in a row. I didn't have my ducks in a row, and it came back to bite me. I'll talk about that if there's any content creators that want to know exactly what was going on with that. But it has been a minute. It's actually the second time as a streamer that I've had to walk away from it, and that doesn't make me happy. Oh, we already got people here. It's perfect. Hello. We got some viewers today. Oh, Pox is streaming. There's a healthy number of Archeage streamers. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I had been excited about Archeage 101. We were having a lot of fun, and then I realized we were making too much money, and I called up the lawyer and I said, "Hey, what do we do about this?" And unfortunately, the lawyer's response was stop. And if you know anything about the way the law works, if your lawyer tells you to stop doing something, stop doing it. And it just took a long time to get worked out. It just took forever to get all the bits and pieces taken care of, and that was just irritating for me. And so I finally got told this past week I could start streaming again because I finally got Twitch to demonetize my channel. I finally got that done. The problem is that I can't make money doing this anymore. So there's some bits and pieces I got to go through. Oh, somebody else is excited. See, I like excited people. Excited people is great. But, yeah. So, back to Archeage 101. I did get a little bit of stuff done this week. My goal today, I got this big long list of things I want to talk about. Hopefully we kick over some rocks. We get some more people in here because I'm really looking for feedback from people as well. I kind of been silent lately. As you saw, I was able to make YouTube videos, but I've kind of been silent because I didn't want to just sit here and bash Gamigo. I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's fair for me to just sit here and lace into Gamigo for, for no reason. And that's really the only option I had. I mean, bad launch, exploit, change, exploit, try to do compensation, exploit, and then you just kind of stop talking. So I've got a couple of bits and pieces that I want to talk about today. I want to watch their live stream. Do their live stream. Unfortunately, I mean, I'd love to shift my schedule around, but I kind of like watching their live streams as a group and seeing what they say. It's kind of like Mystery Science Theater where we can just throw popcorn. Oh, see, Mr. Producer. Mr. Producer's already ready for Archeage's stream. He's complaining already. What you're going to see is you're going to see me actually building an Archeage 101 as we go today. I'm going to be building the slides, grabbing bits and pieces as we go. Because one side effect of Archeage, one side effect of being an MMO, content creator is that you can only grab the information the first time when you do it. Frost, what happened to your sub? You'll notice my channel is no longer monetized. There are no subs on my channel. There are no subs. There is no ability to give bits. It is the unfortunate side effect of being retired and what's considered work. And that is why I've been gone for so long. There's a lot of bits and pieces to it, but I'm retired from the Air Force because of my inability to work because of the amount of painkillers I take due to my shoulder. And so when I tried to take the next natural evolution in the Paradox Gaming Network, one of the things that came up was, well, you're working. And I'm like, no, I'm not working. This is a hobby. And IRS, there's a really long publication at the IRS that what's a hobby and what's a job. And it really kind of sucks because I'm willing to pay the taxes on the money. I don't have a problem with paying my taxes. It's, you know, what you should do. It's how society functions. But the problem is that I like to give all the money away. And I do. I've still got a pile of money from the last giveaway. I'm going to be giving away gift cards for the holiday season. But unfortunately, one of the questions on the IRS checklist is, have you done anything to make your hobby more profitable? And the answer that came back was monetizing my Twitch and monetizing my YouTube videos is a step that I've taken to make more money. So unfortunately, the IRS came back with, because it's the second time I've had to talk to them this year, they came back with, no, you're working, you're a professional streamer. And I was like, I'm not really that professional. And then I kind of got like, we put the money on the table and they're like, no, with the amount of money you're making, you're clearly making a living. And I was like, well, that's bullshit. And they're like, no, it's not, because you in 1 month made a sixth of what you need to make to be over the poverty line for a family of 4. I was like, okay. And so, like I said, I sat down with my attorney and we worked our way through all of this nonsense. And it took a long time. Like, I thought I'd go to Orlando, and I'd come back and it'd all be resolved. And I got back from Orlando and they were like, no, not even close. So I said, that kind of sucks, but you know, we will move on. And so I did. I demonetized everything. So I know a lot of people are gonna ask me, how can you support the Paradox Gaming Network? I don't need you to right now. I don't need the money. I've got a pile of money. I can do a gift card giveaway with every stream that I do for like, I don't know, 6 months. So I can do that out of pocket, and I don't mind going out of pocket for it. I do have my Patreon up if people feel compelled. See, Patreon is different because it's tips. It's not an extra step I do while doing the hobby. So it's just a weird scenario. My goal, and it's weird. It's weird because I was gonna establish the Paradox Gaming Network as a company. And then they said, well, being the CEO of my own company is still working. And that's the piece they're all discussing. How do I go about having a company that I control that can be a taxable entity? So that's taking a little bit longer. This is an alt. This is my, hello, what'd you bring me? No? This is my streaming character. For while I'm doing stuff. Plus, I'm working on the starting foundation of a video. I want to do the gearing video, but unfortunately, it's time consuming. And time is one thing I haven't had a bunch of either. Time is, you know, a pain in the ass when you're a parent. Name of the kitty, please. The one here. Come here. Come here. They want to see you. Ah, that one's Sora, and he's hiding under my desk. Come here, they want to see you. See, he doesn't want to be seen. They're all gonna, you know, they're all gonna get to be mongrels because they're gonna say, "What are you doing, Dad? What are you doing?" And I'm gonna be like, "I'm streaming. Come here, come here. Yeah, come here." I got him. He was caught. Hi. What's up? They can see you. They can see you. You don't want to be caught right now, do you? Alright. Go play. He plays fetch. What's up? Yeah, for the people that have been saying, good to see me streaming again. Yeah, man. It's good to be back, to be completely honest. This is my hobby. This is what I love. I'm trying to learn more about how to put together a good guide. If you guys watch my YouTube channel, you'll see that I put a video out earlier this week on just levels. Just levels. Gamigo is going full submarine to dodge shitstorms. Well, I really hope they don't. I really, really hope that they stream today. Because if they don't stream today, it's gonna be bad with what I already have. As you can see from the name of today's show, what the F Gamigo? Oh, need to mute that channel or mute that screen. What the F Gamigo? I mean, I'm gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it today. We are definitely gonna get into it. However, I was hoping they would stream so that it would back off. It would back off some of the hostility. And I'm not salty. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed. They worked so hard. They worked so hard to make Archeage on paper make Archeage Unchained on paper sound like there was going to be no pay to win. And then they just derped. They just absolutely derped the delivery. So you're almost like, what? Why did you do it? You know, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. It's 10 times worse. Yeah, it is worse. The difference is that as I've grown as a content creator, it's easy to be the guy that gets on stream and just rages and flips a table and screams. And I was that guy about 1.5 years ago. I was mad on behalf of my community because my big thing is, my really big thing is just treat your customers with baseline respect. And I've run several businesses that are successful because the baseline of it is treat your customers with respect. All right. And the worst part is that they're not only not treating their customers with respect. I am not an official content creator for Gamigo Games, for Archeage, the Archeage product. I'm not an official content creator. I'm going to start today's show with a link.
Buddy just came in the mail.
I'm going to start with a link to a content creator that I haven't ever collaborated with. However, it's a content creator whose work, like, I don't want this to sound like condescending because that's not what I'm trying to say, but I've vetted the content creator's work. I've looked at their videos. I recommend their videos on occasion. That has bit me in the ass several times in my content creation career. I'm like, oh, hey, I don't have a video on that, but I see this person does. The only person that I really just blanket recommend, two people that I blanket recommend are Aired and Warhead. I blanket recommend them because I've seen enough of their work. They and I may disagree, but we don't get to bad conclusions. I put a link in the chat. That is from Cura TV. And I can't talk about the Gamigo partnership. I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed to. I signed one of those things, or I agreed to one of those things. So I can't tell you my experience with it. I will tell you I am not an official content creator with Gamigo. That was their decision, not mine. I will say that. I will tell you right now that it looks legitimate. Like, Cura has a legitimate beef. So I watched that video and I was like, okay, looks like you have every reason in the world to be mad. So you know what I'm saying? But it doesn't look like Gamigo's gonna stream. So it looks like you're absolutely right. They're pulling the classic Trino, man. They're pulling the classic Trino. We fucked up, and what we're gonna do is we're going to keep giving compensation. We're gonna keep giving compensation, but we're gonna hide in our shells, and that's cool. Except that's not gonna get them away from me, because I told them when they reached out, and I reached out to them because they weren't inviting me to the media server, and my community was kind of like, hey, why isn't Jay being invited? He makes the most Archeage content. And they outright said, there was no mixed words. They're like, based on your past. I'm like, that's cool. Based on my past. Then I guess you want to be treated you want to be judged on your past. Now, I think at that point they were like, okay, he's right. Let's give him a shot. I don't think I've done anything overtly negative, you know, over the top negative since they released Unchained, and it doesn't look like there's a stream today. I'm gonna stay set up. If somebody does see them start streaming, let me know. I'm set up to go there right away. But we're gonna talk about that. So let's just jump in right now. Let's talk about Archeage Unchained. Let's talk about launch. Let's see. Even if compensation would be delivered without new problems, it's just not good for the economy. If it's bugged like last time and some people get multiple times, yeah. Hold up a second on compensation. Let's just talk about launch. Let's talk about launch together. You haven't started playing Archeage Unchained yet, thinking to buy it today. I would wait, Chill Dragon, till the end of this first segment of my show, and then make your judgments from there. So let's talk about launch. Leading up to launch, Gamigo did a fantastic job. There was only one live stream out of all of the weeks that I think they did a bad job. And I'm going to jump over to... Oh, let me take that off. I don't need that anymore. What's going on here? Window capture. Go over to my regular show. If they're not going to show up, I want my regular show. Regular show thing. But leading up to launch, they did a great job. I think the only week that we had a problem was this week. I think everyone would agree the only bad week they had was Combos week, where basically they left Combo Dash without any help. And then after that, they came back like guns blazing. Krolin came out. I was actually impressed to see the amount of like personal development Krolin had gone through. He seemed way more interested in what was going on with his community. And I remember the couple of live streams where people started saying like pay to win. He actually stopped the live stream and said, "Hold up, I'm seeing a lot of chat. What's pay to win?" Now I'll tell you right now, the way they did the diligence shop is a pain in the ass if you're trying to even share something with your own alt, because the arc passes are gone. I need a building management title on an alt so I can transfer a farm and then get rid of the alt. But there is no way to make a building management title be tradable. You can't buy them with diligence coins and make them tradable. And then there's no wrapped building management titles that you can make. And then when you go to a building management title, even if you make it in game, it's still bound on pickup. So it's an oversight. Maybe. It makes building advanced buildings a little bit more difficult. But that's good. And the reason why I say that's good is it takes an item that is heavily pay to win, pay to swipe for convenience, swipe for easy, however you want to put it under your umbrella. Just little things like building management titles, tax certificates, little things like that. They fixed because the community said that's pay to win, that's pay to win, that's pay to win. However, they launched, and it's like when you're balancing a cake up like 3 flights of stairs, and you worked really hard getting up to the very last step, and then you trip and the cake's all over your face. That's Gamigo. Archeage Unchained was Exploit City at launch. It absolutely exploits everywhere. The Arc Pass was not only bugged, it was exploitable. Now, before we jump, I forgot to grab this. So there was an exploit that Gamigo then came out and said wasn't an exploit. And truthfully, I think I think sometimes people need, like, you know, even companies, even the people at the companies need to shut up and actually have a meeting about what they're about to say. So, as you can see, from their own terms of service, those acts include, but are not necessarily limited to, the following: using or exploiting errors in design, features which have not been documented, and or program bugs to gain access that is otherwise not available, or to obtain a competitive advantage over other players. They came out and said the ArcPass thing wasn't an exploit. But in their own terms of service, it's an exploit. As defined by them, it's an exploit. So then you wonder why half your community gets up in arms at you. Well, you had an exploit that you then turned around and said wasn't an exploit, but then by your own statement, it turned out it is an exploit by your rules. And then when you turn around and you say, well, we're going to take action against people on the auction house thing, well, are we picking and choosing enforcement of rules? You know, they had no idea. So you had Exploit City, and then it was completely disregarded by Gamigo. Now, if you remember, and I'm not the guy that, I don't like revisionist history. I put a video out, even though I myself was involved in, you know, legal discussions with the future of my gaming network and how to make money with it, and not really make money for me, but how to continue to be able to give away gift cards. I was involved with, you know, lawyers. And I turned around and I put out a video that said, at the end of it, they just need to do a reset. And I don't like, you know, not having the proof in the pudding. So there's my video that came out on 18 October, which was 4 days after official launch. Now, official launch was so bad that they said, we are ready to pull the trigger on additional servers if needed. The problem with that was, I was here on launch day. I was on vacation during character registration. I didn't get to link up with my guild because I got through that ridiculous queue and I crashed. And then I got through the ridiculous queue again in time to be told, we're locking win for now. We're perma-locking win. Well, number one, they said they weren't going to perma-lock servers. So they've already gone back on what they've said. Now, before people say, well, perma-locking servers is a good thing, because, yeah, I get that. I understand it's a good thing. However, when you've specifically said you're not going to perma-lock servers and then you do it, the only thing that means is you went back on your word. So that's a big one. Just don't make that statement or clarify it. When you see the craziness of pre-registration and you have a server that's that far above in population than all the other servers, maybe you need to come back with, hold up, guys. We need to talk. We're gonna delete all of your characters. We're gonna delete the entire character database, and we're gonna add on a fourth server right now so that you all can disperse the ways you want to. But you had Exploit City, bad server setups. People couldn't end up where they wanted to. They said, we're going to add another server. Okay. Going to add another server. But it took them like 8 hours to do. So on launch day of a competitive game, now Archeage is a competitive game. No matter how you slice it, Archeage is a competitive game. On launch day of a competitive game, they couldn't get the game put out, the extra servers put out in a reasonable time. Then they come out with, well, we're going to allow you to move, and we're going to allow you to reclaim your pack on a different server. That was 3 weeks ago. That option still isn't there. So they don't know when they're going to, like, they don't know when they're going to be able to deliver anything. And like we said, now 2 weeks ago, they canceled the stream because some people were going to be at other events. bullshit. I'm sorry. That is not how you run a business. And I've called Crowlin out on that once before. I don't give a fuck what Crowlin's job title is. I'm going to call him the VP of development for the prior Tryon suite of games. I think that's roughly what he does. Your ass has nowhere else to be on stream day when you're launching Archeage Unchained, but on the stream. Because you're the guy with the answers. I think Karen Dash is fine. I think Jaya is fine. But Crowlin has all the answers. You literally watch the other two looking up to... They're looking up to look at Crowlin in the box, but they can't even see him because they need to look at the stream. But they do this to visualize that he has the answers. Well, then you need to be on the stream. Well... There's not going to be a stream today because the Germany team is at an event. Okay, fine then, Crowlin. Stream from wherever. Stream from your house. Stream from the office. Stream from wherever. Just stream. And no, they didn't do that. So they're going into full turtle mode. They're going into full defense mode. Now let's talk about compensation. Let's just talk about this for a second. Compensation was a fuck up. Compensation was absolutely a fuck up. There were people that claimed that first initial pack 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. There is a bug that I don't completely understand, but there is a way when compensation comes through the webpage that you can claim it multiple times simultaneously. That's cheating. Those accounts should be banned. However, they have no idea to know which accounts did it because you can't just do a simple search to see who has how many diligence coins because they already had 2 prior exploits that people had a ridiculous amount of diligence coins. They can Delcos, they can check it, but they... Okay, if they can't patch the bug that's been there for 5.5 years, I highly doubt they have the staff that can actually legitimately do it. So let's break that into 2. Is checking it possible? Absolutely. Do they have the people on staff to check it? No, I don't believe they do. Then, when they finally awarded the compensation, the diligence coins... They had to stop that for 2 weeks. Now it's back up. Now it's back up. So you can get your Arc Pass Companion compensation packs, but you must be level 40. But where's the Arc Pass? The Arc Pass still isn't in the game. So you basically took a game, stripped features out of it, promised features, bundled it up, sold it, took those features away, and then you've been limping along. Now, they didn't even stop when they swept it under the rug. Yeah, there you go. Good point. You can purchase it before level 40, just can't use it until level 40. Make sure to buy it. Yes, absolutely. I obviously can't because I already have bought my 2 on my main. This is just for this particular video. But so when they swept it under the rug and they said, "Oh, it's not a big deal." There were people that had plus 15 weapons. All their weapons are plus 15, all their armor is plus 10. Just take a minute to think about how much gold that takes, how much labor that takes. Think about how much labor it takes to open that many crates to get that many tempers. Think about how much labor it takes to temper all those items to 15. And don't tell me that it wasn't game breaking. The galleons, they didn't even consider that. They're like, oh, there's not a lot of people with high gear scores. No, because the cheaters knew that if they went off to the races with their high ass gear score, that they were going to get noticed and potentially called out. So what'd they do? They put the gold that they earned into their galleons. Fuck, man, there was a guild that had 6 epic plus galleons right after the exploit. Well, what does that do? That opens up Abyssal. Now they're just making more gold. Yeah. I'm not going to call people out. My channel has academic freedom to call out whoever. I mean, that's my channel. I don't say calling people out is good, but I ain't going to stop you. With that said, you know, so now you're looking at a game that's completely borked. Yeah, completing 100 high-run quests does reward 10 solar tempers. 10. That would get you one of your items to 10. You're still talking about people who had a full rack of plus 15s. So yeah, people got multiple packs. Now let's talk about the quality of the game. Okay, I'm not gonna harp on that initial 10 to 50 seconds thing. That even if you're on a solid state drive, like if I crashed right now and I had to restart, it would take forever. It would take forever for Archeage to restart for me. Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 seconds now, which I don't understand. But let's talk about the library. Let's talk about the library on a couple of things. Number one, if people go into the library, it lags the entire server. All right. So clearly you haven't ever improved on the issues we had 4 years ago. Delco said it has nothing to do with EAC. It was like that. It was like that for me before they ever put EAC in. So yeah, it's not EAC. It's just how badly the game loads. And as you can see, EAC was a great thing for them to add in because, as you can see, EAC is stopping all these hacks, cheats, and exploits, right? Yeah, it's just how the game loads into your memory. Yeah, and some people don't have a problem. Some people do. Some people with middle range rigs have no problem. Some people with top end rigs are sitting there scratching their head like, why does this game run like absolute dog shit on my machine? This stream better than any official stream Gamigo could do right now. Yeah, I mean, it works. It is. Castles are working in EU, but they're not working in NA. Instances are working in EU. They're not working in NA. You know, to me, this feels worse than the alpha in 2014. Yeah, Halsey problems as well. It's anything in NA that requires you to go to a new server. To go to the instance server doesn't work. Instances are working now. Okay, I haven't checked today. I hadn't checked today. Yeah, the castle system. You know, here's the problem. They have systems in place like the library. Why is there such a high gold value for the items that drop off the library bosses, the floor bosses, but in 4.5 fresh start, you made a big deal about the Kadam's Barks. This is just an example, and I've talked about this numerous times. You cannot have a game and launch a game on a fresh start 5 years later, if you don't sit down and look at the game of how does Archeage 6.0 play as a brand new game. Because if you think about it, Archeage Unchained is Archeage 6.0. However, it's Archeage Unchained 1.0. Did I move servers? No, I'm on my alt. I'm finally able to stream, so I'm on my video character. I was gonna do Smash Face again, but then Sweetheart would get mad because Smash Face was a one-time humorous thing that I shouldn't repeat. The library's not that useful for anything. They should just get rid of it. Yeah, the library used to be the place that you got a badass earring and where you got all of your materials for your obsidian weapons. All of the library bosses existed in order to be the placeholders, the killable item for your Ionad earring So why is the library still there? Lore-wise, why is the library still there? Is the library costume worth crafting? Not in NA and EU because it doesn't have stats. In Korea, it has stats. It's worth grinding the library because you can accumulate the crates that have the items in them that you can sell for gold. It's just vendor off for gold. So it's almost like you can do so many things that aren't intended. Do so many things that aren't intended to make gold, but doing the things that are intended to make gold, like running trade packs. Because larders disappear. Okay, let's talk about larders are still disappearing 18 months later. All right, there is a level of unacceptable, and this, I think, I'm not, you know, throwing in a bunch of hyperbole. I'm not over exaggerating. I'm just going down my list of stuff and talking about what you guys are responding with. Archeage Unchained was not ready to launch. It was not tested enough. It was not looked at enough. It was not thought about enough. They took something that they could make some money on. They slapped a fucking price tag on it and they pushed it out. And then the worst part is they're like fucking surprised when they get chargebacks. And I saw somebody mentioned, to give you an example for how bad their support is, I refunded my main account with PayPal. Gamigo did not manage to make a statement to PayPal for my refund, so of course PayPal refunded. Makes you wonder how strapped they are. So, I won't do a chargeback. I don't care. It's whatever. It's money. I don't give a shit. I'm not doing a chargeback this time. I'm gonna continue to make Archeage 101. And you still can log into the refunded account? Yeah, that's the thing. Now, I am going to talk about something a little bit. I understand. Where's my best advertising? My best advertisement ever. Where is it? I got to find it. Hold on. I think I have it. Give me 1 second. I gotta find some stuff, but people are making the joke in the Gamigo channel that Gamigo didn't stream today because they're still at the bar. I mean, I would be hard pressed to get on a stream today if I was anybody. I mean, when you fucked up this big, if you don't have a spine made of solid steel, and if you don't have a big set of brass balls, getting on a stream right now to try to talk to your audience, you'd get crucified. No, I actually have. I'm looking for a video clip. I'm looking for a video clip that I did of Archeage. But oh yeah, here we go. Let me move this into there, and then where's my OBS? This is my best advertisement I have ever done for Gamigo, for Archeage, and I think this will sum it up for everybody. You're talking about Archeage, where people know Archeage is an abusive relationship. Archeage is that ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend that's a meth addict that hits heroin when they can't get their meth, who's drunk all the time, who slaps you around, and you just keep going back to because the sex is that damn good. That's it's like, you're gonna get fucked. You're gonna get boned 3 months into this. You know it. Something's gonna happen and you're gonna get boned. But you're okay because you remember how goddamn good the game was. That explains so much about Archeage. It really does. It explains why we play the way that we do. There's nothing better on the market. There's absolutely nothing better to play on the market right now. And the problem is, I don't blame developers. I blame the fucking players, okay? I blame us. I honestly, I blame us, and I'm just as much at fault as everybody else because I'm not refunding this pile of shit. I should be the guy saying, refund this piece of shit. And, you know, not only, like, just like the last time in 4.5, 402 chargebacks is what I know for a fact they had. I mean, I can guarantee they had more, but I know 402 chargebacks is what people came. I spent my whole, like, May helping people write chargebacks, and I know all but 3 went through. At one point, when it came to chargebacks for 4.5, when it came to 4.5 in chargebacks, PayPal just got tired of waiting the 10 days. PayPal just started giving refunds. Hey, I'd like to refund. Boom, granted. And that is in the PayPal. That's in the PayPal clause that if they start to get blanket complaints about you, or if they keep getting the same complaints about you, they can just issue blanket refunds. It's something you agree to when you agree to have PayPal as a third-party processor. It's no different this time. A key feature of Archeage Unchained is the ArcPass system. It has now been 26 days since they disabled it. It's not here. The game is feature incomplete. It's a beta at best. It's probably more an alpha. Continuing on this list of things that I had, this is where you run into a problem when you're not authentic, when you're not genuine, when you don't give a shit. You can't get on your live stream and be taken seriously when everything is, we have no ETA, 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 no ETA, no ETA. It's all Excel. Well, it's your fault. It's your fault because you didn't test it. You didn't test it. You were told, and you ignored the people that were telling you this is a problem. Like, I have no sympathy for Gamigo at all because they could have done more testing. They came out with, oh, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do it in like a month. And then we got to push by 2 weeks. Well, you didn't even have the release candidate until 2 weeks before you wanted to go. Why do you think no Western company has just picked up the things that are amazing in this game and ran with it? Non-instanced housing, the labor system, the profession system. Well, here's the problem. Western companies are picking up. Well, first of all, the labor system sucks. Let's get the labor system right off that list. The labor system is ridiculous. The labor system is built around a pay-to-win system. But the non-instanced housing, the profession system isn't that good either, to be honest. I mean, it's interesting, but they haven't built their game very well. They haven't built their game very well to make crafting relevant. Because the last I saw, and I'll be honest, I didn't check. Did they take them out? Yeah, I think they took them out. I didn't see completion certs anywhere in here. So well, hold on, we'll talk about instance housing versus open world housing in 1 second. Yeah, they took those out, which is a good thing. They wouldn't be there. But there are companies that are grabbing some of those keys, those key features. Ashes of Creation is going to have non-instanced housing, but they're doing something smart. They're making housing tied to a system, their citizenship system. And so to be a citizen of a node, you have to have housing of one of the 3 types. And to then make sure people don't get blocked out, they're doing instanced housing as well. So they're doing instanced apartments, but they're doing open world housing and then open area freeholds. So they're grabbing that. The profession system, I mean, Final Fantasy has a profession system that was fairly decent, except they let everybody be maxed at everything. It's not open world, it's just instance. No, it's open world. They have open world houses, they have open world freeholds, and then they have instanced apartments. They have both. Final Fantasy has instanced housing and instanced apartments, but they had a screw up early on in their housing setup, where at one point they allowed you to have as many houses as you could afford. So then people are like, well, why don't they just add more? Well, remember, the more instance housing zones they add, I've got the damn out on my back. The more instanced housing zones they add, that's more server load they have to have. It's more cost they incur. But that's sort of your own, again, that's your fault. You offered a feature, offer it to everybody. Or do it like Archeage. Now, the point is, people holding land with alts, blocking land, how is this a good thing? Yes, I agree that housing in Archeage is a great idea, but it came up a little bit short in execution. The housing zones should... there's no easy way to do it because you have 8x8s, 16x16s, 22s, 24s, 28s, 44s. There's no real easy way to do it. Like, some people will make the argument, well, I blocked my housing the way I want it because in time I'm going to upgrade my houses and I want to make sure I have my space. Well, that doesn't mean much to the guy who doesn't find land. We've talked about on my show several times, absolutely talked about how you could change Archeage a little bit. You could change Archeage around a little bit and do instanced housing, not to the detriment of open world housing, and the instanced housing wouldn't have as much value as open world housing because you wouldn't be able to do things like larders. With that said, larders aren't really a factor right now anyway because every maintenance, they disappear. You can only really do one larder set a week. You can do 2 larder sets a week if you wait until right after maintenance to plant your larders. And then plant your larders, harvest them, plant them again, harvest them, and get them run before maintenance. I mean, I get it. But you've had this problem. They've had this problem for months. Your larders disappear? Yeah, I mean, it's a well-documented problem. If you have larders in place, before maintenance, it's a dice roll if they're going to be there when the servers come back up. I'm surprised you hadn't heard about that. That's been going on for over a year and a half now. And then I already talked about the Kira TV thing. Yeah, now it's affecting beehives as well. People who are putting down beehives come back and their beehives are gone. So that, I mean, you have a really big damn problem. You know, and they need to they need to figure that out. I love when people send me stuff during my show. I got to check that out. A game developer. Now I will tell you guys this: all hope is not lost with game development. There are two game developers. They're doing small projects. The smart part about it is they're seeking the advice of people early, so that they can make sure that throughout their development, they're, addressing those concerns. Like, I had a conversation last night with a game developer, and we were just going back and forth talking about, issues. And they were like, hey, check out this spreadsheet. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I disagree with your numbers based on this. And they were like, okay. They're very receptive to feedback, which I don't know why. I don't know why companies suddenly think that they don't have to be receptive to people like me, because I represent people like you. I have the time to sit around all day and, fuck about with games. Like, I'm going to tell you guys, I am not recommending you go play this game. Okay, I don't want you to be like, oh, Jahlon said I should go play this game, it's a good game. I'm having a fucking blast in Kingdom Under Fire too. I'm having an absolute blast in it, but it's the kind of game that I enjoy. It's the kind of game where you hit tab, you get taken to an overview tactical map, you give commands to units, then you tab back in and you're doing player-driven action combat. I don't like action combat, but I'll accept it for this game. But you're constantly bebopping in and out, doing stuff, giving your units commands, and there are consequences. Like, you might take all of the best, units, but all of the best units aren't always the best units for every situation. If you turn the larders before you place them, they'll be fine. I did see that this week. That is something I want to test going into next week. There's a lot of bits and pieces out there in the world that I'm gonna be honest. There are some shitheads with Archeage, like there are with every game, but there are some shitheads with Archeage that are giving bad advice because they like to laugh at people who they like to watch as people struggle. They like to watch as people struggle with their gameplay. So I think that's fairly shitty. To be honest, you should, if you're not giving honest advice, just don't give any advice. But you know, some people want to watch the world burn. Yeah, the people who were constantly explaining Evanstone your explorer's gear, not specifying to get the adventurer's Evanstone. Yeah, shitheads like that. Shitheads absolutely like that. Those are exactly the people I'm talking about. Exactly them. So, with that said, I don't want to take away anybody's fun. I don't want to take away anybody's fun. If you're having fun in Archeage Unchained, that's great. For me, I guess because I'm old, it's really hard for me to feel excited for a game that's just full of bullshit. Especially, and I linked you guys the Kira TV thing earlier. I'll link it again for those of you that have joined my show. There is a certain level of unacceptable. And Kira, it's a long video, but Kira had to do the diligence on putting out the video, because if not, you find yourself getting sued. You find yourself getting sued for making false statements. But so Kira laid out the whole thing. Kira apparently isn't getting paid accordingly for the number of packs that Kira should be selling. Like, I'll let you guys know right now, when it comes to signups and referrals, I beat the dog shit out of Steven Sharif, the CEO of Intrepid, because I'm like, look, motherfucker, if you're going to do an affiliate program, you're going to run your affiliate program above board. I know exactly when people sign up with my link. I know when people tell me, like, people will PM me and they'll be like, hey man, I'm about to sign up for Ashes with your referral link. I'll be like, hold up. Go and grab the number. All right, I got the number. Let me know when you're done. I'm done. They register. It goes up by 1. Cool, I got you. When not, I'm like, hold up. Give me your email address. I send them in emails. I'm like, hey, this person just registered and they didn't count. It led to them scrapping their system and redoing it to make sure it was right. Because I don't condone fucking around with people's money. So if Kira's doing videos and, you know, promoting Archeage and not getting paid, that's some next level bullshit. And in the video, it looks like the people at Gamigo are just straight bullshitting Kira with the way the emails are coming, with the information they're getting. Looks like they're just straight bullshitting. That's unacceptable. If they're gonna bullshit their content creators, do you think they give a shit about bullshitting their player base? It's really how you need to look at it. If they're bullshitting their partners, what do they think about you? Just saying you got multiple compensation packs when you actually didn't, just to troll chat count because you're a shithead, kind of makes you a shithead. but not too much because I can prove people got multiple compensation packs. I know for a bona fide fact people got multiple compensation packs. So it's not like you've run into the theater and yelled fire, but the theater really is on fire. Gamigo, we all got jebaited again. Man, somebody had to say jebaited. Now I gotta do it. We gotta have dance party time. Hold on. Let me bring it over. Since you said we got jebaited, I gotta do it, man.
You got jebaited. You got jebaited. You got jebaited. Jebaited. Jebaited.
So there you go. I'll share that with you if you want it. If you want to listen to that shit for like 10 minutes. That's the jebaited video every time, man. Every time. But yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. Oh yeah, you won't forget this moment. There you go. You will not forget that you got jebaited. With that said, how could they have fixed Archeage? Well, the way they could have fixed it was they should have done a wipe on day 4. They should have just owned it. It's called, you know, maybe being a parent has properly prepared me for dealing with angry masses of gamers. Hey guys, it's Jahlon from the Paradox Gaming Network. And the game that I just launched this week, I launched it on Tuesday, and even though I'm not even going to bullshit you, clearly I didn't test it enough. I didn't put my game through enough testing, because clearly there's a bunch of exploits. So what I'm going to do right now, guys, is tell you I am sorry, but all the progress you've done for the last 4 days, it's going to get wiped. I'm wiping these servers. There's exploits. I built a competitive PvP game. Clearly I didn't build it good enough. I'm going to wipe these servers. I'm going to invite you all to go onto the PTS. I need every single bug, hack, and exploit you can find. And I'm just going to tell you the truth. If you want a refund, you can have a refund. That's just how it's going to be. And then I'm going to, I'm going to see what we can put together in another month. There's nothing on the fucking market. What was going to compete with Archeage Unchained? Honestly, they could have spent another month fixing it. They could have WoW Classic's not a competitor for Archeage Unchained. WoW Classic had already launched. Archeage Unchained was picking up the pieces of the people, picking up the pieces of, who was leaving. You don't think their investors would have been anywhere close to okay with that? They've already lost hundreds of players. And here's the thing. When you give a refund, the only thing you're on the hook for is the processing fee on the credit card or with PayPal. However, whatever that processing fee is, you buy something from me, I give PayPal, I'm going to say 2%. I don't remember what the fuck the percentage. I'm going to say 2%. So you buy something from me for $100, I keep 98, PayPal gets 2. That's how that works. If I give you a refund, I give you back $100, but PayPal doesn't give me back the $2. PayPal keeps the $2 for the processing fee. However, when you start incurring thousands and thousands of chargebacks, that's when PayPal comes knocking on your door and says, hey, we gave 500 players $100 back. So we're going to intercept this money that's supposed to go to you that we're holding. We're holding that money. And oh, by the way, because you exceeded your chargeback threshold, you owe us double-digit processing fees for every single chargeback. That's the fuck you penalty for not taking care of business. So it can be as much as, let me actually grab, $20. $20 is the chargeback fee when you cross a threshold. It starts to be $20 per. So what happens is you gave me $100. I kept 98. I gave PayPal 2. PayPal gave you $100 back. They kept their 2. They're only going to give me $78 out of the next $100 transaction. So, when queues of thousands of players are no longer a thing, that says enough. Well, here's the thing. No MMO ever keeps their server queues, but when they fall off, when they go from 4,000 to 0 queue like that, they didn't suddenly do something to the servers that made them able to house 4,000 more people. What happened is there's 3,900 less people on that server playing. Some of those are people who moved to new servers, the other servers that came out. However, there are people who have just straight quit Unchained. And a lot of those people, they know that it's inside the first month. They know that they have the product not as advertised refund available from PayPal. A lot of those people have done chargebacks. Some people, I will say, to Gamigo's credit, some people got refunds from Gamigo. Some people did. Gamigo did issue some refunds. I haven't heard of anybody getting one lately. So what really happened is they started giving refunds, realized that they were going to lose their ass, and then where they have a lot of people is a lot of people signed up for Unchained on the same account as their legacy account. If you do a chargeback, you get the entire account banned. So there's a lot of people, there's not a lot, there's a handful of people. There's a handful of people that have gone to back to legacy. There's a lot of people that have just moved on. There's a lot of people that are just done with MMOs for the moment. And this is a systemic problem of the bullshit going on in the MMO community. You guys know that I am an official Ashes of Creation content creator, so I do a lot of stuff with them. But my main audience is Archeage. Yeah, you know a bunch of people that refunded and went back to Final Fantasy. Yeah. Although Final Fantasy isn't exactly blowing off any socks at the moment. They're at kind of an all-time low of they're kind of at an all-time low on their numbers. I can answer that question for you in 1 second about why Ashes of Creation created a battle royale mode. I'll answer that. We're kind of just all over the place. 500,000 people. So there's at least 500,000 people, 550,000. So 551,000 playing Final Fantasy. So that's pretty good. So that you guys can see. But this is based on. Their census is always based on how many people have claimed a certain item. So it doesn't account for new players. Because you have to be all the way through 5.0 to be counted as an active character. How is Ashes of Creation looking right now compared to Archeage? Alright. So, at some point, Steven Sharif is going to get he is going to have to get better at public relations. He either needs to go to his public relations company and say, I need somebody to speak to my community for me, because I'm incapable of doing it. He's self-admitted he's bad at PR. The problem right now is Intrepid is also turtling right now. They created a Battle Royale mode. It didn't become popular. They said that they would release certain information. They haven't released it. They've missed deadlines, so they're turtling. The problem is, bad news is not like wine. It does not get better in time. If you have bad news to give to your gaming community, just give the bad news. Just be honest. Gamers don't want to be bullshitted. They want Gamers just want to know what's going on. Gamers want to know what's going on and then just be like, this is what's going on. This is honesty. We're going to go dark and we're going to fix this. There's so many other companies doing such nefarious shit right now that as long as you're genuine and authentic, you can be a fuck up and admit that you're a fuck up, and there's going to be other people that are fucking up bigger than you. But it's when you start to lie and hide it that gamers are like, oh, there's a scandal. Because gamers love drama. I don't care. I mean, you're all here. You love drama. You love in-game drama. You stir the pot of in-game drama. There is nothing you love more. You might not get into it. Why? You may not get into the middle of it. You may not get into the middle of it, but you love to watch drama in Nation Chat. You love it. Yeah, it's not about the fuck up. It's about how you handle the fuck up. Gamers are just people. Why specify gamers want? Because gamers, gamers are people. Gamers are definitely people. But online gamers are specifically MMOers, are a very unique breed. Very unique breed of people. And I say that because at BlizzCon last year, Blizzard said, what, don't you have phones? And there were literally people I was talking to after the Diablo Immortal statement. People, I had, and this wasn't just once, it wasn't just twice. I must have heard this exact phrase like 12 times, and very similar phrases at least 100 times. Man, I am so pissed at Blizzard right now for what they did with Diablo. Why didn't we hear about Diablo 4? Why didn't we hear about the World of Diablo or the World of Sanctuary? Like 2 minutes later, man, I can't wait for Warcraft 3 Remastered. It's the same fucking company. You can't say I'm mad at Blizzard and then turn around and say I'm waiting for one of their other products. If you do, you're not that mad. You're not that mad about it. You just, if you want to be mad, that's cool, but then stick to your guns and be mad. CDPR. Who is CDPR off the top of my head? They're not popping up. What game do they do? Gotta get here where I'm not. Oh yeah. Witcher. Yes. I was like, I'm like, I know it. It's just not coming to me. Yes. Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah. Alternatively, GOG. That's the Cyberpunk 2077 thing. Is a testament to a company with some integrity. I'm not saying that Epic Games trying to do the Epic Store isn't the right thing to try to break the Steam monopoly. But GOG is doing the same thing, and their interface looks a whole lot neater and a whole lot cleaner. I have the original. Oops. Yeah. I have the original Diablo from GOG. I gotta do a review on it. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to slam the way they did the original Diablo for $10. But I gotta, oh, what is... I was like, I need the context. Yeah, need the context of my own show. But yeah, GOG is pretty amazing. The only problem is that they gave me a free copy of Diablo to review, and it's like with enhanced remastered graphics, and I'm like, no, it's not. You can't say that. So I want to like do the piece on Diablo, but then I also want to be able to talk about the store in a positive light. I think what Epic Games is doing with like Cyberpunk, and they tried to, Epic Games is being kind of scummy because they're trying to hurt Steam directly, and that just ends up hurting the players. So, yeah, I don't necessarily endorse what Epic Games is doing, especially since they're also having no integrity. They're saying to small companies, you have to you have to be an exclusive because we don't have the ability to you have to be an exclusive with us because we don't have the ability to split offer games, but then it's like the same month Cyberpunk is going to be on multiple platforms. So people don't, it's like, why are you lying? It's like, why are you lying to your customers? What about Diablo 2? Yeah, I was hoping that we would have heard the Diablo 2 remastered news at BlizzCon. We never got that. It's official, no stream. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty official a while ago that they chickened the shit out. And see, this is the worst part. 2 weeks ago they canceled the stream, but it was announced that they weren't doing the stream for reasons. And now this week they just chicken the fuck out and don't do the stream at all. Like, where is your pride in your product? Where is your pride? Like, if you're not controlling the message, somebody else is controlling the message. Right now, Gamigo is not in control of their media message. Right now, as much as they don't want to admit it, right now, I'm in control of their media message. I'm in control of the media cycle for Archeage Unchained. Because if I decide to go full fucking postal and do a video with having just quadrupled in size this year, most of it being Archeage followers. Yeah, I'm the captain now. You're not... I'm the captain now. I'm trying to be level-headed about it. But they're not really trying. They're not really doing anything. They're just like, we have your money. Where is it? Where is it? I gotta do it. This is why Crowlin can't be on the show today. Or why they couldn't do a live stream today. That's Gamigo. That's what they're doing right now. Wait, hold on. We gotta go 2 for 1. All right. This is their live stream. That's Crowlin. That's Karen Dash. Can't live stream today, guys. We're busy. That's where they are. You guys seen Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, where they're doing the spoof of Good Will Hunting 2, and there's Wes Craven, and Ben's trying to get him to call action, and he's just sitting there counting the money, and he's like, "For God's sake, Ben, I said I'm busy." And it's like, it's like Crolin's just counting, and my bonus is this, and I told him it would have these features. I don't know. I just don't know. How can you legitimately look at yourself in the mirror at night knowing that you just bullshitted? Like, you know, like Muzzy quit. Muzzy quit Tryon. Muzzy was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. I gotta go. I can't be here no more. You guys are scummy as fuck. And he just pieced the fuck out. He got a new job. And that's my concern. Like, you couldn't watch the stream today? Yeah, nobody could watch the stream today. They didn't do one. They didn't do one. Sorry, some of the times that I stop, it's because I'm turning on my video recorder and recording a piece of footage for a video that I'm going to be doing on gearing. Well, there we go. Dance, you fat Furby. I do want to say thank you to you guys, even though I've had 2 really rough stretches this year. My first rough stretch was when I got really, really ill. I was really, really ill due to an infective nerve in my jaw. And then I didn't think I was going to make any of my goals for the year. And then I came back and had a really strong couple of weeks. And then I had to stop because of the making the money thing. That kind of sucked. Being told, like, Scribble from Ninja Loot Games and I were talking about how, like, demoralizing it is to be told, no, you can't make money doing what you love. It's like, well, shit. So there's a couple of things I need to do with that. Try to figure that out going into next year. But did they say why? No, and that's the worst part. This is the embarrassing part, okay? You know you have a live stream on Fridays. You know your community is expecting you to live stream. Okay? You know, Gamigo, you know that your community was expecting you to live stream today and provide some answers. Did you forget you had a live stream? Did you just not... Like, they don't give a shit enough about their community to cancel it. There were people in the channel waiting for the live stream to go live. Oh, fuck it. So, you know, I actually, on my list today, I said I want to talk about Gamigo's response. And everything they have is no ETA. They canceled the stream 2 weeks ago because people were going to be gone. Crowlin didn't show up last week, and I put it as he didn't show up last week. I mean, I could say Crowlin was... See, there's a couple of ways I could say this. And this is called controlling your message. I could turn around and I could say, and unfortunately, Crowlin was unable to be at the Gamigo livestream last week due to other obligations. Or I could turn around and say, Crowlin didn't bother to show up. Yeah, there's no ETA on the next livestream. If you want to be treated seriously, then act seriously. If you want people to believe you, then be believable. And that's the worst part. Crowlin was really believable for like 6 weeks. And then it was just like, it was like a car that runs out of gas before it hits the finish line. It was like, put, 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 put. It was that big fat sack of money in the trunk. Like, you know, they're like, we weren't expecting to make this much money. And you know, there were a lot of other ways they could have done it. There were a lot of, like I said, how did the car go? They could have just simply cut it at the end of the first week, and they could have said, yeah, we're sending this back to alpha. I would love to see a company. I would love to see a company not try to bullshit its audience. And here's the thing. I get that people who are involved in game development, I get your argument. Game development is unlike any other thing because you never know what's going to happen. Sure, but then let's take that back a step and say that's software development. All software development has to just be given the excuse. Has to be given the excuse of, yeah, well, it might not be right because it's software. It's so uniquely special that you know, you can't hold us responsible. You can't hold us accountable to our shitty product. Well, yes, I can. Well, you don't understand that in software development, when you fix one thing, you might just naturally break 5 others. I don't give a fuck. That's I was able to get your money back with PayPal. Thank you, Paradox, for being informative. That's what I do. But, you know, I'm going to use, for example, and I know people are going to say, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Yeah, imagine banking software this buggy. Yeah, no shit. Imagine that you're building a house. And I know people are going to say, well, building a house isn't the same. No, it's not. People have been building houses for 10,000 years, right? However, there are certain known potential variables. Like, for example, in Illinois, in southern Illinois, we went from able to work on construction projects in October to unable to do shit because it's too cold. You actually don't want your home builder doing certain things at your house, doing certain things for your home at the moment, because it's going to be bad for the long-term life of your house if your contractor is trying to do certain things. Like, if the frame of the house is up, can the contractor be in there doing like the tiling, the sheetrock, the drywall, whatever you call it? Sure, absolutely. Do you want your contractor like pouring your foundation right now? No, because you can't pour concrete at this temperature. You can't. But that means if you were on a time schedule to be moved into your house by a certain time, guess what? For home construction, weather is just a bitch. Weather just gets in the way. It's the same thing. When you set a deadline, if you study project management, there are only 2 ways to set a deadline. There are exactly 2 ways to set a deadline. The first one is, it's today. It takes X number of days to finish a project. You include a buffer. So your delivery date is today plus X plus the buffer. Or the other way to set a deadline is, we absolutely positively have to have it done by 31 July. What do we need to do? What do we need to do to have it done? And what do we have to sacrifice to have it done? What features do we have to remove? How feature complete can we be? Now, usually you don't work like that. You simply say, I need it by 31 July. That's not possible. You literally go with the, that's not possible. I can't get this done. And then try to find somebody else who thinks they have the skill set to do it. Mr. Big Duck mentions Final Fantasy. When Yoshi P got tapped to come up and be the head of Final Fantasy 14, he literally said, which is suicide in Japanese companies, he literally said, I've been with the project since we started. I wasn't in charge. I'm now in charge. Square Enix, I have to take the game down. I cannot continue to keep the game online and bring it to a solution where it's playable and fun. I have to take it down. We've been limping along for 2 years, a little less than 2 years, trying to make the game fun, trying to make it work, and that's not going to work. I mean, Final Fantasy 14 released, and they didn't even start, I don't think they ever started collecting monthly subs. You bought the game, okay, you bought the game, and it was never good enough for them to kick on their subscription service. Everybody who owned a copy of Final Fantasy XIV, the original, automatically owned a free copy of A Realm Reborn. They didn't try to reach into the consumer's pocket. They said, we released a shitty game, and so what we've done is we've gone out of pocket to make the game better. That's a testament to a company that actually gives a shit about its player base. At the same time, this is how they operate. This is how they operate. When's the next expansion for Final Fantasy? We don't know. You'll know when it's close enough. You'll know when it's close enough that we can tell you about it. You did not get the new things I had in the original Final Fantasy? I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by you didn't get the new things. I got everything. I got everything I had. And I mean, I had a collector's edition in the original Final Fantasy. I got a collector's edition for A Realm Reborn. Path of Exile 4.0 announcement in 45 minutes. So here's the thing. Here's my thing with Path of Exile. Path of Exile is trying to compete with I don't know what. I don't like Path of Exile to me doesn't feel like an MMO. Path of Exile feels like Diablo to me. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's a very good game. But I don't think Path of Exile is ever gonna compete with big games because it's not an MMO. Yeah, but what do they call it? Yeah, that's right. That's right. They don't call it an MMO. They call it an ARPG. People call Path of Exile an MMO, but it's not. So yeah, we did this once. We did this once on my show. We dug through it. It's Path of Exile from the developers is not an MMORPG. It's a online ARPG. Yes. Path of Exile is trying to compete with D3. Yeah, basically. Okay, now let me answer the Archeage related question and then we'll talk about D4 real quick. Thanks for all your Archeage guides on YouTube. I have a question. If I don't play Archeage Unchained for a few days, will I be left behind? If you don't play for a few days, yes, you will fall behind, but the amount you will fall behind isn't that much. It's just the longer your breaks are, the farther you fall behind. But no, you can take time off Archeage, and not like become horribly far behind. I haven't actually on my main. I'm still just fucking about. I don't even know what I want to do with my main yet. That 30% self-heal nerf is gross. I leveled as one class. I'm leveling my next 3 trees. I'm almost done with that. But I took like 5 days off because the game was just killing me. Now D4, there is one thing about D4. There is one thing about D4 that I don't think they've thought through, and that's non-consensual PvP. And I never really got a good answer to that question. But if you put non-consensual PvP in D4, you're not going to have a very solid player base. It's like you have to know your target audience. Non-consensual PvP is fine in some games. However, I don't think non-consensual PvP in Diablo is going to work. D4 is trying to reclaim a portion of PoE's market share in online ARPGs. No, because D4 has been a rumor since before PoE was ever talked about. I was actually really shocked to find out Diablo 4, that Diablo 4 was another ARPG. I know that there's a Diablo MMO, a traditional MMO, been talked about, like spitballed, storyboarded several times in the history of Blizzard. They've wanted to do an MMORPG. Well, Blizzard is always working on their next MMORPG. What usually happens is they work on it, they look at where they're at with WoW, and then they shit can it. Yeah, Project Titan, for example. They decided to turn that into Overwatch. So is Diablo 2 hostile PvP. People bought Diablo 3 based on Diablo's 2 success. Yeah, but the thing with Diablo 2 is Diablo 2 Diablo 2 you can play by yourself. Blizzard is not working on another MMO. Yes, they are actually. They hired 3 staff members about a year ago for all requirements for prior MMORPG experience and experience, or at least familiarity with the Diablo IP. I highly doubt they would bring in MMORPG people for Diablo 4, as it's different skill sets. But you are entitled to have your own theory on that. But yeah, I mean, to say they're not working on another MMO is silly, because we know in the past they've worked on other MMOs and just canceled them. What does the stream title mean? It means what the fuck, Gamigo? What are you doing? It means what the fuck are you doing? You're talking to one, but okay. It's not a different skill set. You can look me up. That's cool. I don't have to look you up. I have a whole bunch of game developers. I have a whole bunch of game developers in my speed dial. There's a couple of them watching the show right now, because we talk. So it's cool. You're a game developer. It's a different skill set. And if you're going to try to sit here and tell me that developing an MMO that looks like this and an ARPG are not different skill sets, well, then I really don't want to talk to you, because then I'm going to look at you and say, what in the fuck are you talking about? Just like if you try to tell me that developing for PC and developing for console are the same skill sets, then I'm going to look at you and say, why do so many companies sell off the rights to the console versions of their games because they're PC developers and they don't want to fuck about with console development? So, I mean, cool. If you want to give me your resume, you want to take your name off of it, that's cool, but, you know. Just stash tabs, literally tabs that behave differently and allow you to stack massive amounts compared to regular tabs, which let you store. Yeah, Delcos is talking about monetization of PoE and how you have to pay for more storage space. It's a simple enough way for them to make money. But it's, you know, it's one of those, you're nickel and diming me. You're nickel and diming me by making me pay for storage. And you have to buy that once. You guys can continue that conversation. Let's see. All these developers in your chat on speed dial, but only one for Blizzard right now, telling you you're spreading false intel. Gamer, I'm gonna go with I don't believe you, because I know if you really did work at Blizzard, I know what your NDA looks like. You wouldn't come onto a random, you wouldn't have the ability to come onto a random Twitch channel and talk about what you do or do not have in development. So that's kind of where you fucked up. But just so that I don't have to, this is generally how I deal with people who, you know, people work for Blizzard. I signed their NDA and I wasn't allowed to even admit I worked there for years after I left. Yeah. Ignore that first part. I didn't say what I do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. You could be the fucking secretary and you have an NDA. You're allowed to say, you're allowed to admit you work at Blizzard when Blizzard specifically tells you you're allowed to admit you work there. That's how that works. But hey man, if you want to go the full Monty, give me your phone number at work and your office extension. I'll give you a call up. Let's see. Spend money on the tabs. You don't need 200. Okay, so I see the discussion going on between two people. This is why I've come up with the quote pay to ... theory. You're arguing Blizzard doesn't have an NDA. Well, if I'm to believe you, then I have to believe the other guy that says he signed an NDA. And if you just were to Google Blizzard NDA, just so you know, when you interview at Blizzard, you sign an NDA. You sign an NDA for your interview at Blizzard. Just so we're clear. Like, you're not even allowed to talk about, like, if you if you take the interview and you get the job, you're not going to be going off and sharing the questions. And if you do, you shoot yourself in the ass and you're never going to get another interview. So there we go. That makes my life simple. The argument that a couple of people there are talking about is expansion scrolls. Are expansion scrolls pay to win? I wish Warhead was here, because Warhead usually makes the counter argument that I make. I acknowledge that this right here is limiting. It's pay to advantage. It's pay to advantage. Is having a bigger inventory an advantage? Yes, absolutely it is. Especially in a game like Archeage, where there are hundreds of different specific bound items. Just like this is where the hell did it go? Did they take it out? No, right there. That was also a pay to win advantage. Absolutely. Multiple accounts are more pay to win than expansion scrolls. Absolutely. But what we're doing right now is we're ranking and we're racking and stacking the level of pay to win. The thing is, once you talk about if something is pay to win or not, if something is pay to win or not, or pay to advantage or not, then that's it. pay to win equals pay to advantage. No, I think there's a very specific difference between pay to win and pay to advantage. Extra inventory is definitely an advantage, but if it doesn't give you any combat capability, no combat stats, then if it doesn't give you any combat stats, it's not pay to win, it's just pay to advantage. You know, if you're getting a combat, like for example, I talked about Kingdom Under Fire 2, and I also specifically said, do not play this game because I say it's good. It is pay to win. In fact, I'll share the statement I listed on my Discord today, just so people knew how I was talking about Kingdom Under Fire 2. I said, so for anyone who sort of liked Bless Online, who also likes RTS games where you command troops, Kingdom Under Fire 2 released yesterday. It's really good. I'll probably stream it a little bit sometime in the near future just as a have fun stream. Yes, it has pay to win elements to it. It's an Asian import, and it's all action combat. Kingdom Under Fire 2 has straight pay to win advantages because you buy a scroll that gives you combat stats. That's pay to win. It also has pay to advantage because you start accumulating all this crap, just all this random crap, and you need somewhere to store it. Well, in order to store it, you need to spend money. If someone tells you I've already spent money on the game, but I don't come close to having enough, it sounds like you were saying the game is expensive. No, to me it sounds like he was expressing that they kind of nickel and dime you. Inventory space is a bad thing to monetize. It is a scummy thing to monetize. Because when you start designing your game, you can tell, you can say to the developer, why do you have 19 different things? Why do you have 19 different things that are bound? Because you don't have to, then you play a fuck ton. Well, see, now your argument is becoming, you're arguing versus somebody's opinion. Argue it from the point of, do you have to pay money for expansion, for storage expansion? Yes or no? If you have to pay real world money for it, then it's pay for advantage. If you can accumulate it in game, I don't care what the process is. If you can accumulate it in game, then it's just pay for convenience, and then it rolls down the hierarchy even more. Inventory storage is never going to be pay to win. It's at most, you know, at most pay for advantage. And then once you can accumulate it in game, it rolls down from pay for advantage to pay for convenience. Now, somebody said just mail stuff to yourself and Archeage, problem solved. Yeah, I mean, mail stuff to yourself, absolutely. Okay, if you want to leech off free-to-play games forever until the end of dawn, until the end of time, maybe, and never spend anything, then I don't know. Now, I'm not saying that you can't monetize a game. I'm just saying that inventory space is a shitty thing to monetize. I just think inventory space is a shitty thing to monetize. Then again, I don't care. I don't personally care. I drop money because I don't like free to play games to begin with, to be honest. I like paying a box price and a monthly sub. I like paying a box price because then the developer pays off all of their investment. You know what I'm saying? If it takes the developer $300 million to develop their game, and they get to sell, and they box price the game, they buy to play with a monthly sub, then they pay for the bulk of that development with the box price. Like WoW, for example, Battle for Azeroth. I don't know what they spent. I don't know what they spent to develop, what Blizzard spent to develop Battle for Azeroth. But what I do know is in just one day, they made approximately $200 million in one-day sales for the box price. Well, $200 million is a lot. Is a lot of, you know, development offset. I would imagine that Battle for Azeroth was probably in the $300 million range for them, if I had to guess. I could have asked the guy who worked at Blizzard if I didn't ban him, but he wouldn't have been able to tell me because of his NDA that he didn't have. I would think 300 million would be right around in the ballpark for what it cost them. So if they made 200 million of that in 1 month, or in 1 day, excuse me, if they made 200 million of that in 1 day, offsetting their costs, that's pretty good. Hello, come here, Meowbox. Oh, I know, you hear me streaming. Oh, I know. You don't come and see me for the whole month I'm not streaming. And the 1 day I stream, you come in here making a bunch of noise. Yes. Meow. Anyway, where were we? Somebody said that buy to play plus sell cosmetics is their favorite monetization. I don't like the buy to play plus sell cosmetics thing. Like I said, I like a box price plus a sub. I don't know why I'm writing that down. I know what I like. I like a box price plus a sub. Box price lets the company get back up to even, and then the monthly sub lets them know. Like, the monthly sub is more than just the money that it makes. The monthly sub is a great indicator for how is your product standing up quality wise. And what I mean by that is when you like, companies don't publicize their total number of players except EVE Online. EVE Online's API allows the public to know exactly how many people are playing EVE Online right now. So I'm gonna tell you, I love this fact. I think every company should do this. Absolutely, every company should do this if they want to have open honesty. Let me close that real quick and let me do another one. Yeah. So this is EVE Offline. This is a website maintained by Kriba. He's been doing this for years. But right now, there are 25,515 people playing EVE Online. And this is always plus or minus a couple of minutes. 57 seconds ago right here. So 25,000 people are playing. Yeah, EVE is still alive, man. EVE gets up, what did they get up to in the last 24 hours? 25,515. So yeah, they're doing good. Now EVE has got some problems coming down the pipe. They just lost a major staff member. But why are companies afraid to tell us how many people are playing? Remember Final Fantasy 11, which is, I come from the Final Fantasy series of MMOs. Like, really got serious with Final Fantasy 11 because I had this thing called Time. You used to be able to do /online and see how many people were online at the time. Why would you not want to know that? Do you think Gamigo would handle all of the issues we've had better or at all if we had a monthly sub for Archeage Unchained? Okay. No, I don't. I'm going to be blatant and just, no bullshit. I don't think anybody at Gamigo on the Archeage team has the skill set necessary to be the project manager for Archeage Unchained. I don't know what is driving the bad decisions. It could be toxic leadership. It could be disengaged leadership that they just want to see profits. But the truth of the matter is, somebody at Gamigo has got the magic pencil to sign off on the big decisions. And what's happening is they're too interested in making money short term and not making money long term. There's making big money and there's making little money. And I don't know what Gamigo's problem is. Maybe Gamigo needs capital because they want to buy another product. I don't know. Maybe they wanted... I don't know. Maybe they want to fuck it up so bad that they get the license for Archeage Unchained taken away from them. Maybe they didn't want to do it in the first place. Although I think then if they didn't want to do it in the first place, they would have just not signed a new deal with Gamigo or with XL, because we all know how that happened. Anyway, this is empty. I'm gonna get up real quick. Usually I go 2 hours at first, but I didn't ration my water very well. I will be right back. All right, sorry about that. I gotta. There's things I want to do in life. I need to get a fridge in here so that I can have cold water. But getting up every now and then is good for you. I am lucky. I do have a sit-stand desk. That's really useful. Gamers, we sit at their desks forever, and it's bad for you. That's why I'm down more than 50 pounds for the year just from getting up, walking around, like being like, I don't need to grind for an hour. I can go for a 5-mile walk. Let's see. Oh my goodness, this cat. So here's the thing with here's the thing with dailies. If you've been playing MMOs for a couple of decades, you'll know that once upon a time in a land far away, there wasn't anything such as dailies. There used to be really... Okay, I love you. Go find your brother. 5 miles in an hour isn't a walk. Yeah, true. That's more of a jog. No, that's actually running. Sorry, yeah, 5 miles, 3 miles. Should have said 3 miles. I was thinking about the destination and not the time. But yeah, I went back to running. Anyway, people got mad because what did we say? What did we say a long time ago? There's nothing to do. Why am I logging in? There's nothing to do. There's 2 raids. We do the 2 raids on Monday and Tuesday, and then I have nothing to do. So what did game developers do? They put in dailies. They put in reasons for you to log in every day. Now, 20 years later, what do we complain about? I hate the fact that I have to log in. There's no pleasing us. I think what XL and Gamigo wanted to do and do your Arc Pass as weeklies, I think that was a good idea. I think that was a really innovative... I mean, it wasn't like greatly innovative, but it kind of modeled off of what Revelation Online did, if you guys never played Revelation Online, there were dailies to do, but you could stack them so that if you didn't do the daily today, you could say you had a paper to write. I'm just going to use you're a student, you had a paper to write. And then so you had to miss a day. Well, you didn't miss the day's progress because the next day when you did it, instead of getting 100% XP, you got 200% XP. So it allowed you to stack up some of your stuff to do. I thought that was really that was like enjoyable because somebody said I wanted to love Archeage Unchained, but all the stuff that happened plus daily age is driving me nuts. Absolutely. People don't want to have to log in every single day. You've made it so that games aren't entertainment, they're second jobs. You shouldn't feel like you have to play the game that you're playing. Now, I'm going to go so far as if you have a game that has organized raids, weekly raids, then yes. You're kind of signing up for a second job, especially if you're a key role like a healer. You kind of are signing up for a second job. But I don't want to have to play a video game every single day. I would like to, you know, go do other things. Maybe go out to dinner. Maybe go see a movie. That's why I don't give a shit about Archeage. I don't care. I have lollygagged through the progression. Not as far as where I would have liked to have been. Really was disenfranchised with it. I find, like I said before, I get my enjoyment out of making Archeage 101, not necessarily playing. So I mean, I'm having fun my way. So for me, being a content creator has made Archeage more sandboxy than anything else, just because I'm having fun my way. Wow. Where's this one again? Oh yeah, I gotta go up. I gotta go up wherever. They changed this quest, and it dorked stuff up. Let's see. Showing sub numbers during a period of downturn can cause a negative feedback loop. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Blizzard got caught a couple of years ago now. Blizzard got caught lying on their monthly active users because they did a press release and they said we have this many Hearthstone players. And then they did a press release and they said we have this many Overwatch players. And then when you took those two numbers and you compared them to their SEC shareholders report, it was like, wait a minute, how do you have this many of this and this many of this, but only this many of this in your shareholders report? It was like that. These numbers don't add up. And so for publicly traded companies, I understand. So for publicly traded companies, I do get it. They got to be careful about what they say so they don't, you know. Well, if you're telling the truth all the time, you don't have to worry about what you're saying. Let's see. About to start my PvP account. Is leather dual wield Hex Reaver crazy? Is leather dual wield Hex, would plate dual rube be better? Focuses. Yeah, I have no opinion. I have no opinion on Hex Warden. Yeah, versus a two-handed Blood Reaver. Yeah, that's the key one. Yeah, I don't particularly have an opinion on a Hex Warden versus a Blood Reaver. That's all you, man. That is all you. The dishes are done on you. Yeah, Browley's a hero. Good for Browley. I mean, yeah, there's people having a ton of fun with Archeage. I don't want to kill your fun. I do not want to kill your fun. I would love to see Gamigo come. I would love for Gamigo to actually, like, you know, respond to what I said. Like, But I mean, how do you treat them seriously? And I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I am not trying to be a jerk about it. But how do you treat them seriously when they don't even do a live stream? Like, you have to do a live stream. And then I'm gonna beat up on some companies right now. I'm on Kaylin. This is where I ended up when I couldn't get on Win. Like Chronicles of Illyria. The owner of Soulbound Studios doesn't understand why his community like literally hates him. It's not like a joke. His community literally hates him. And so his community hates him for stuff like after their Kickstarter, he released a statement that said, we never imagined people would be surprised by the news that the game would require more money to finish. That's the fucking... when you read all of the stuff about Kickstarter, however much you ask for on Kickstarter is literally how much money you need in order to finish your project. So when he turns around and he says, we never expected people to be surprised that it would take more than 900,000 to finish the game. Well, why would people be surprised? Why would people be surprised? How the hell did you resub? I'm not supposed to be able to have subs. I'm not supposed to be an affiliate. How the hell was that possible? I'm gonna have to talk to Twitch. I'm not supposed to be an affiliate. That's funny. Respond to tickets? Yeah, I mean, that's a big one. But anyway, yeah, Chronicles of Illyria. The owner of the company, Caspian, he has on several occasions insulted his community. Like literally during an event that's supposed to be fun, he says, well, I guess we're gonna have to dumb the event down. Well, that's not how you talk to your community. Like, I will not play Chronicles of Illyria now. I don't care if Chronicles of Illyria is Game of the Year 5 years in a row. I will never play Chronicles of Illyria because of how Caspian speaks to his audience. They had to do a Kickstarter anniversary to raise more money because they were broke. That's going a long way when you've reached into the pot once and you've made money, and then you need to you've made money and then you need to make more money. It means you're never coming out. Did Gamigo have a stream? No, Gamigo did not have a stream today. Yeah, Kickstarter anniversary fundraiser. Like, what the fuck? Let's see. Yeah, Twitch just taking the money, no affiliate needed. Yeah, I guess that must be, man. Hey, somebody who appreciates my work. That means a lot to me. It's always nice when your work is appreciated. That's not bullshit. It's like sometimes I do say to myself, why am I still doing this? But it's when people come to the channel and say thanks. That's why I do it. If a video helps one person, then I am happy to have done it. Have I ever been happy with a game? Yeah, I've been happy with lots of games. I was happy with EVE Online, but I was more happy being married. And if you guys don't know that story, my wife got the shit scared out of her by Aura, and my wife said she's got to go. And then my wife went to her mother's once. Oh, I'm on the wrong bench. My wife went to her mother's once. I went back to playing EVE, and then my wife said, no, this needs to stop. We're not doing this. We're not doing this anymore. So yeah, I loved EVE, but I love my wife more. So, you know, Final Fantasy XI, absolutely loved. left Final Fantasy 11 to go play Eve because I like the strategy of Eve. What name is my main on Kaylin? Jahlon, ironically. Let's see. What other games? I like Star Wars: The Old Republic up until the point where there was nothing left to do. We didn't have anything to do. That sort of sucked. Yeah, equipping, doing it right now. Just yep. Nope, waiting for the other one. There we go. Let's see. What other games? Rift was good. I liked Rift. I liked Final Fantasy 14. In fact, I still like Final Fantasy 14. I was just playing Final Fantasy 14 this morning with my wife, and then I played Kingdom Under Fire before this. So yeah, I mean, there's been lots of games that I've been happy with. Somebody said that wasn't me. Yeah, there's a lot of Jahlons on a lot of servers that aren't me. Just so people know, I'm on Kaylin. I am on Kaylin. Can I take a look at the screenshot for tax calculations? It seems wrong. 16 by 16 small house are owned, and planting an improved 16 by 16 is supposed to cost 90 tax certs. Just remember, property is account bound, not player bound. So if you, or not character bound. So if you have properties on other characters on that account, they all raise your prices. But if you only have a 16 down and you're putting down another 16, no, it's not supposed to cost 90 tax certs. So you had no idea what happened with trade packs until I saw your videos. Yeah, again, where I talk about gamers, and people are like, well, they're just people. No, they're a very specific type of people. Gamers expect every single piece of content. They think that every single piece of content made is going to be relevant to them. Unfortunately, that's not how life works. That's not how life works. The trade pack video specifically said at the beginning of the video, this is going to be a lot of all over the place catch-up stuff. There's going to be a lot of catch-up because I'm trying to bring everybody up to common day. And then there's literally people who were mad during the, they were mad during my video, and they're like, well, you talked about how things were. I was like, yes, that was the point of this video. That was the point of this video, was to catch people up. And, well, it wasn't relevant to me. Sorry? Not every single piece of content I make is going to be relevant to you. I do apologize. You know, not really, but, you know, doing my best. I'm getting pinged over at the Ashes of Creation server, like, people asking me questions. If you prepay the taxes, that will also screw it up. So don't prepay. Only prepay your taxes when you have all of the land done how you want it, and then prepay your taxes. That was one that bit me in the ass. Now, prepaying your taxes does work if you're about to do something like you own a mansion and you're about to drop a couple other pieces of property. Let me take this back. It used to work in your advantage. That's why it's all screwed up. Now you're paying like a weird formula. You're paying a weird formula on the taxes. But yeah, you used to be like, oh, I own a mansion. My taxes are going to go up. So if I prepay the mansion out for 5 weeks, I'm only paying the higher taxes on the new property. Yeah, that worked. It doesn't work like that anymore. You didn't know you could prepay? Yep, you can prepay your taxes if you're going to be on like vacation. You can pay out for 5 weeks. I'll add that to the list of things. The problem is that they also don't have a test server up for Unchained. So it's really hard to make content when there's no test server for Unchained currently up. I think It may be back. I haven't checked recently. I had to create room on my hard drive, but when I installed the test server for Unchained for PTS2, PTS2 wasn't up. In fact, nothing was up. So it was like, how am I supposed to make content if I can't use the test server? And that's a thing for any game developer, and then I'll talk about Jahlon Unchained. Any game developer that wants their game properly like promoted, you need to have a test server where you allow your creators to have like your content creators that you've picked need to have the ability to do basically anything they want so that they can make the videos the way they need to make them. I also highly disagree with the way Gamigo and Tryon have done their test server. You should never have a test server people can permanently live on as players. Then it's not a test server. Then it's not a test server. It's just another server that has different rules that people are permanently living on. Like, I don't know if any of you have ever tried to go to the test server to test something, but you have the people with like the 18k gear scores because they can just generate an infinite amount of gold. And then you're like, well, I'm trying to test something and I'm getting killed by the guy who's wagging his E-peen because he can do this on the test server because it's the test server. It's stupid shit. It's why stuff doesn't get properly tested. You want to know why it doesn't get properly tested? That's why. Jahlon Unchained. Jahlon Unchained is you know, an interesting beast. It was supposed to be out a long time ago. And then it was supposed to have go into beta on the 4th of July of last year. And it didn't, and they still I don't know, I haven't done my end of 2019 look at games yet, but I think they still have their NDA in place, their visuals NDA. We are really at a point where Chronicles of Illyria, Jahlon Unchained, Crowfall, Pantheon, Ashes of Creation. Pantheon is in that group, but it really shouldn't be because it's not going to be heavily PvP. The first company that can get a solid MMO out, all right, the first company to get a solid MMO out, they're going to capture market share. The MMO community is hungry for a new game. They're hungry. I mean, shit. You want to know how hungry the MMO community is for a new game? People went back to Archeage Unchained and WoW Classic. And then you've got little studios out there. Why can I not remember their name? It's like, I'm embarrassed. I can't remember their name. What the hell's their name? Oh, seriously, what's their name? Oh, there it is. You've got Dynamite Studios doing oh, thanks Ease. Yeah, I had to be gone for a long time. But yeah, I'm back a little bit. I'm not gonna be streaming all the time until I figure out what I'm doing with life, but I wanted to at least pop on today. You got Dynamite Studios doing Fractured. You've got Quasar Studios doing Valar. You've got Ninja Loot Games doing Defend the Night. You've got a lot of these little studios. A lot of these little studios that are making games. And all it's going to take is for one of those little studios to get something just right. And they're going to capture a portion of the market because players want something. Like people are bored. MMORPGers are bored, and rightfully so. There's really nothing. Like, what is in the market right now that's worth playing? You know, you heard Archeage 2 rumor in G-Star stream. It's not necessarily Archeage 2, but XL Games is working on a new MMO. I would have, and this is Jahlon's 2 cents input. I highly doubt it would be Archeage 2 because of how much ass pain the licensing agreement from the novelist is, I would highly doubt it would be Archeage. It would be Archeage 2. I don't think Jake Song, the guy behind the Lineage games, needs... I don't think he needs the lore from Archeage to make a game. So what is actually wrong with Archeage Unchained? Well, first and foremost, the entire Arc Pass isn't even in the game. It was removed. The game started off and people just exploited left, right, and center. So there's a lot of people with a lot of inflated gear scores, a lot of stored labor. There's a lot of like the library. If people are doing the library raid, library bosses raid, it lags the server. North America had weeks where they couldn't do arenas. They just couldn't do them. They wouldn't connect. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of little bits and pieces that should have been more polished, especially for a game that had already been released for 6 years. It felt more like an alpha than Archeage felt when it was actually in alpha. Now, to keep in mind, Archeage in North America and EU never was in alpha. That's that clever bullshit marketing scheme. The game had already been launched. It was in localization, but it wasn't in alpha. To say something's in alpha means that the feedback you give actually matters and that there's actually the opportunity for changes. Most games, when they come over from Asia, they're not in alpha. They're in translation. Just like Kingdom Under Fire 2, the distraction game I'm playing right now. The translation is awful. The translation is literally awful. It's like what the voice actors are saying isn't actually what the subtitles are. That's pretty close, but just the text translations. What was the one earlier? What was the top tier? The top tier translation I had earlier. Let's see. We haven't retaken. So I don't mind when games have a couple of grammatical errors in the text. Like I said, I definitely understand the difference between Korean and English being subject verb object versus subject object verb. But come on, hire a translation company. Whatever happened to the steampunk MMO that Bluehole was making? That was called Air Ascent Infinite Realm. And the problem with Air was it released in Thailand, where the company is, and it fell apart. They lost a major investor, which slowed down development. Air was on Unreal Engine 3, which has its own inherent flaws for the back end. So I don't think we're ever going to see Air. I think Air is just going to quietly die now. It's just going to quietly go and die. Do I think that they're going to have a fresh start Archeage Unchained? Yeah, Archeage Unchained, its fresh start should be they should wipe all these servers and relaunch them. That's really what they should do. Not trying to be a jerk, but they dropped the ball. And the worst part is like I said earlier in the show, they almost got themselves out of the hole they were in by saying they were going to let people reclaim their pack on a new server, but they haven't done that yet. So it was like you told people to leave their server and go to a different server and they could get their stuff, but you never gave them their stuff. Yeah, Bellstrom was down for 3 days. Okay. How... Yeah, we talked about they let people exploit and then said it wasn't an exploit. We talked about that earlier in the show, even though their terms of service clearly states that that's an exploit. But I'm on one of the newer servers. If they did a fresh start, I would quit. Yeah, but they should have done it on day 4. That's the trick. They should have done it on day 4 and put the game back into testing. They should have said, "Hey guys, you guys all did a really good job. You guys all did a really good job of finding all this stuff. Hey, hush you. You guys did a really good job of finding all these bugs. Thanks for that. But due to the damage that has been caused to the servers, we're going to put the game back into alpha." But they needed to do that on day 4. Not now. Now they can't do it. Now the best that they could do, and this is, I mean, nobody listens to me, but this is what they should do. They should literally say, if you want to wipe your account, you can wipe your account. Delete the characters on your account. We're going to remove the deletion restriction. Delete the characters on your account. We're going to give everybody the ability to reclaim their packs again. And then we're going to open new servers. We're going to give people who want to go to a clean server that doesn't have all the bullshit on it the opportunity to do it. But the people who want to stay on their servers full of exploits, they can do that too. And then people would be like, but that would be a lot of work for them. Yeah, well, you kind of paid for it. Like, the bar, where you set the bar for Archeage Unchained is definitely different than where you set it for Archeage Legacy, because this is a buy-to-play game. This is a buy-to-play game. And it doesn't meet that minimum level of expectation. But, like I said earlier, and only halfway joking, this is where Krolin and Karen Dash are today. They're in the back counting the money. They couldn't even do a live stream. Yeah, now here's the thing. Now let me talk about Krolin not being on Twitter. Let me talk about that. And I'm gonna use a different example. I wanna lay out an example for you guys first, and then I want to talk about Krolin. So the community marketing lead at Intrepid Studios, her name is Margaret Crone. She went to PAX. She went to PAX West a couple of months ago now. People saw that she announced on her Twitter that she was going to PAX. And then everybody started bombarding her in Discord about what Intrepid was doing at PAX. And as a professional courtesy, I kind of cut those people off and I said, guys, Margaret is an accomplished streamer in her own right. She is going to PAX. Intrepid is not going to PAX. So although, yes, Margaret is the community marketing lead for Intrepid Studios, that's not why she's going to PAX. She's going to PAX as the streamer Margaret. That's where Krolin made his mistake. That's where Krolin made his mistake. Krolin started engaging with people through his personal Twitter account. And so when we go to Twitter, and this I don't blame him for. So display capture 2. So over here, VP of Development at Gamigo, working on Archeage, Trove Game, and others, formerly at Tryon Worlds and Daybreak Games. I play the games I make. Opinions are mine. Okay, but they're not. Okay, but they're not your opinions. They're the opinions of the Vice President of Development, because this is how you've set your account up. This isn't you as a person. This is the Vice President of Development at Gamigo, because that's what you've put. Now, if he had not put this on his Twitter, and it was just from here on, then he has the right to stop responding. He can start and stop responding to people however the fuck he wants. But because he has put, I'm the Vice President of Development at Gamigo, it's almost like he's on an official Twitter. Like, that's officially what he is. Now, he does put it in there, and that's the only reason why I don't beat him up to him. He does, the opinions are mine. I play the games I make, the opinions are mine. Cool. But you started answering questions, and then you put your head in the sand. Well, you wonder why people are mad. Nobody is saying anything. At At Gamigo, nobody's saying anything about Archeage. At Intrepid Studios, nobody's saying anything about Ashes of Creation. At Soulbound Studios for Chronicles of Illyria, they're saying, thank you for the money you just gave us. At Crowfall, at least Crowfall's in a playable alpha format right now. Camelot Unchained is, I don't know, I think it's playable, but it's not in beta. I think it's in alpha. I don't know if it's 24/7, so I don't want to speak out of turn. But none of these companies are saying anything. I don't know if they're having a Mexican standoff right now, where they're just waiting. They're waiting for the first person to say something. Like, and I want to cross it over to hardware. I have never been a fan of AMD. Never really been a fan of AMD. But right now, AMD just like choke slammed Intel. Intel releases their new CPU. AMD comes out with, yeah, you know what? We're not going to release something that competes with what you put out 3 weeks ago. We're just going to curb stomp you with what you put out last week. Their new CPU is leaps and bounds ahead of what Intel has. Normally, AMD's best is competing with what Intel released 3 quarters ago. They've both just released something within the last like 10 days, and AMD's is far superior. This is the time that you're going to see a little bit of market share switch, especially just going in the holidays. Some gamers do their upgrades right around Black Friday. They try to do it on the cheap. I think AMD has done a great thing, but AMD is being honest. AMD is just out there being honest, and everybody knows what AMD has always been. AMD has always been the affordable alternative for almost comparable quality. And this time around, they have the better stuff. I think that's everybody, all the top six really big game manufacturers, not company-wise, but project-wise, they're all backing off from all these statements they made. And then you look at NC Soft with Project TL. You haven't heard shit all about Project TL. We haven't heard shit all about Project TL in what, over a year? I think they're just off. I think they're just off building the game. They're just off building Project TL. And you know when we're going to see Project TL? When it's ready. They're not going to try to early hype train it. They're not going to try to do anything like that. It's just going to be like, hey, where's Project TL? Oh yeah, it's finally ready. Here you go. That's just how it's going to be. Can I show the top equipment players? Yeah, I can do that. 1 second. Confirm. All right. Let's see. Top equipment players. Yeah, so there you go. 8.2K. 8.2K gear score on win. Is it possible to have this gear score without buying gold? Yes. If you took advantage of all the unintended mechanisms in order to make gold. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I can't call it an exploit, even though the terms of service calls it an exploit, because they specifically said it's not an exploit. So it's not an exploit. But yeah. But now here's an interesting thing for you. Look down the list. Just look down the list of the servers for the top 100. Just look down the list, and you're gonna see. Picard said he didn't exploit, but stopped streaming Archeage Unchained. Bullshit. Here's the thing. I don't know what a particular gamer did. Okay. I do not know what a particular gamer did. But I do know that it's not possible to have done without taking advantage of the flaw in Unchained. You're not playing Archeage Unchained? This is Archeage Unchained. If you're asking why on stream, I don't have it under Archeage Unchained because it doesn't have the stupidity for the game title. What exactly was this exploit? Okay, Archeage Unchained had two major exploits. One of which was, I can't even show you because the Arc Pass isn't in, but you could keep resetting your Arc Pass to only get the Kill World Boss daily and get 50 gold apiece. Now, after that, which is another huge flaw, they switched it to weeklies where you could make a dwarf run around and do all 100 of your Arc Pass weeklies in about an hour, and then keep yourself under level 30 so that you could send all the gold to your main, delete the character in 10 minutes, and do it all again. And that's how a lot of people did it. It's 5,000 gold for the gear and 2,000 for the gems, more than possible. It's way more than 5,000 for the gold. And the other big thing is it's not the gold you need to look at. It's the amount of labor. The amount of labor that it would take to temper all of those weapons. Here, we'll look at this. So the amount of labor that it would take, that's an 11, that's a 10, that's 15. So that's 21, 36, 46, 47, 47, 57, 59, 60, 70, 81, 91. That's 91 tempers worth of labor. That's a lot of labor. Well, and it's like I said, if they say it's not an exploit, then it's not an exploit. Yeah, the gemming's more labor. So yeah. So what is it? 91 by 200. That's 18,200 labor. Now, 18,200 labor divided by 2880. So that's 6.3 days. That's 6.3 days of labor just on tempering. Just on tempering. That doesn't include the labor necessary to insert all the stones. So when people are like, oh, well, they didn't exploit. Well, they didn't exploit. You can't. Yeah, not an exploit. You hit the nail on the head. It's not an exploit, but we're going to take it out. We're going to take the whole system out of the game, but it's not an exploit. But we're going to take the system out of the game, but it's not an exploit. Well, it's either an exploit or it's not. It's either the intended consequence or it's not. If it's the intended consequence, then leave it in. If it's an unintended consequence, then ta fucking da, it's a goddamn exploit. Pick a side. Have the goddamn spine to pick a side. You know? That doesn't factor in the fails. Correct. I didn't factor in the fails. I didn't factor in the, you know. What do I think the highest possible gear score right now without... I have no idea. No idea. Like, absolutely no idea. What should be... I mean, I'd have to have charts and graphs and spreadsheets to figure out, like, where you should be. The other problem is... The problem isn't... People call you an exploiter with 7300. Brawley, unfortunately, man, you have the... Brawley, you have the history of, you know, having done shady shit. So when you say I have 7,300 gear score, but I'm not an exploiter, I look at you and I say, yeah, but I can't trust you because you've admitted to cheating. So you don't get to throw your hat in the ring. You don't get to throw your hat in the ring and say it's totally possible. Yeah, but you see, you admitted in the past and you got banned for it. And so you get put off to the side of people who I don't trust you because You've cheated in the past. I can't, it's just reputation. I can't trust that everything you've done is above board. Somebody said I'm at 7.2k without any exploits. Yeah, I have no idea if it's possible or not. If you're being authentic or not, I have no idea. I would have to find somebody, who I know for a fact is at that level who didn't cheat. Unfortunately, the people I know that do that sort of testing all got disenfranchised. So yeah, you're not trusted because you were shady in the past. So I can't say that this guy, I can't be like, yeah, I say this guy says it's possible, you know. That's what reputation is, man. That is unfortunately what reputation is. No, I don't think once a cheater, always a cheater. It's like once a cheater, always skeptical. If you have 3 accounts and you're only using your main's labor to upgrade your gear, that makes sense because that means you have 3 accounts. That means you have 8640 labor a day. So yeah, I mean that gives you enough labor. Yes, labor is shared between servers, but not between regions. Yeah, unfortunately, due to all the shenanigans with the Arc Pass, this character is on the same account as Jay's, so I'm grinding through some stuff so I can do a particular video. My other account is supposed to be my streaming account, but I can't dump one of the properties because I can't get a building management title. Because that the other character is not level 40. So it's like ridiculous. You lock everything, it's like the stuff that they wanted to do right, they got right and did well. And then the other stuff they didn't get right and they didn't do well. So you're like, what exactly are you doing? Like, what exactly do you have going on here? Mid 6 to 7k gear score is not possible without Arc Pass. Simply not enough labor. I don't know. I can't make that statement. The other problem is what about the people? What about the people who didn't exploit but got out, but got an awful lot of labor, who got an awful lot of labor from legitimately doing the Arc Pass? Like on Jay's account, I legitimately got labor rechargers without using the exploit. So what do you do in that situation? Might have worse consequences than just giving out compensation and hope everything goes quiet. I think they understood that they fucked up but couldn't do much about it. If they decided to to ban the top 150 players that got the gold, they're literally punishing players for the company's mistakes. Yes and no. I mean, in their own terms of service, it says they let's not talk about what it says. Let's go look at what it says, so that everybody's on the same page. I like to go to the root material. So display capture right here. In the terms of service, rules related to gameplay. While a game may permit various styles of gameplay, including, for example, player versus player type combat, certain acts cannot be construed as fair and are considered serious violations of these terms of use and contractual agreement. Those acts include, but are not necessarily limited to, the following: using or exploiting errors in game design, features which may not have been documented, and or program bugs to gain access that is otherwise not available, or to obtain a competitive advantage over other players. So even though, like, you could have done the Arc Pass completely legitimately without doing anything unintended, but it was still exploiting an error in design, they could have actioned the accounts. That's why, like I said, on day 4, I outright said, just wipe it. Just wipe it and send it back to alpha. Use the data you've already gotten as early alpha. Nobody's going to be pissed if you bring the server. Well, of course, there's going to be a handful of people that are pissed. But at the end of the day, I personally believe it increases your image if you wipe the bullshit and you come out and say, hey guys, Archeage is a competitive PvP game. There are people that are getting an unfair advantage due to a mistake on our part. The game wasn't ready, so we're taking it down. We're putting it back into alpha state. We need you to test it on the servers. But see, then the problem with that is you have to then stop and actually fix it. But they rushed. They rushed. And when you keep rushing, nobody believes you. They didn't even have the candidate release build until like 2 weeks before they went live. Well, how do you expect people to take you seriously? Why not have it? I do have it on my back. Why aren't you flying? Invalid target direction. Okay. How do you expect people to take you seriously? They should not bring the Arc Pass back and only give out diligence coins each week. The problem with that is then if you say that that's the solution, then people are going to quit, because then you created a situation where the people who got ahead, and the people who didn't get ahead can never catch up. Right, and it's kind of the situation now. So I don't know. I don't know if long term the game can be healthy. I simply do not know if the game long term could be healthy. How would you let her decide who gets to catch up? You can't. That's the problem with fair and equal. And people think when they say it's not fair, there's a lot of things that are done that are not fair. Oh, that's why, because I moved these up. I was like, why the fuck can't I do this? I have another set of bars there. Fair and equal are not the same word. And a lot of people get that confused. So, for example, if you want to completely level the playing field, is completely leveling the playing field fair? No. Is it equal? Yes. But is it fair? No. How do you do that? You find out who had the most diligence coins on every server. Before you start doing all this compensation bullshit, you find out who has the most diligence coins on any server. And then you simply issue out diligence coins for the difference. The problem is that you would have had to take the store down. People were spending them as you got them. There's no fix. There is like no easy fix. What would have been an easy fix? The only thing they did right in 4.5's fresh start that they didn't carry over to this one, you should have only been allowed to have one character at creation. One character. Now, the whole thing about why are you allowed to have multiple accounts? We've talked about this numerous times on my show. I don't think it's right that they let you have multiple accounts. I don't think it's right. But the thing is, how do you stop it? If you can come up with a way to stop it, let me know. Because to date, the only thing that we've come up with to stop people having multiple accounts, the only way to do it would require Microsoft to write. Microsoft would have to write the software, and then only Windows-based clients would be able to play your game. The only way I can stop multi-boxing. I can absolutely stop multi-boxing for 95% or more of people. And what it is that the server checks your Windows key. So the only way to connect multiple times from one machine would be running virtual machines with their own operating systems. That would be the only way to do it. Now, would there be people that would do it? Sure. Use ID at account creation. Yeah, right. There's a reason why companies don't ask you for your ID, because that would be a lawsuit waiting to happen. Do you like the Korean-only phone number and phone number connected to your ID? Google phone, and it still doesn't stop people because my daughter has a phone, my wife has a phone. For a while, I had two phones. I could have 6 accounts. That would be worse than what they have now, which is EAC. EAC is nothing. Let me just say that outright. EAC is absolutely nothing. You can VM around. No, it doesn't. It stops casuals who don't know how to set up their VM properly from multi-boxing. It doesn't stop. EAC doesn't. EAC doesn't stop all VMs. It just stops the casual people. It's almost impossible to hide a VM from EAC. Nope, it's not. Just watched a guy. No, it's not. It's not complex at all. I just watched a guy do it 11 times on one machine. I said bullshit. The guy said to me, I can run 11 copies of a game, with EAC up. And he says, I said bullshit. EAC stops and detects. He's like, yeah, it only stops and detects the casuals. Hold on, let me grab it for you. Do I have a copy of the picture? Damn it. He has his name. Stop that. Save image. 1 second. I have to censor this image. One folder. Open with paint. Bring this over here so I can see what I'm doing. Yep. Okay, save. So, different game, still uses EAC. Alright? Still uses EAC. And I said, there's no way for you to get around the EAC's virtual image detector. And the guy was like, yeah, you can. I said, no way, man. He's like, watch. He says, I can do it 11 times. He says, I can start my own games in Ashes of Creation, which uses EAC. And, you know, there you go. So, don't tell me EAC. Don't tell me EAC stops virtual machines, because the guy did it. Different game, but if you can get around EAC, for one game, you can get around EAC. It's just that simple. And I'm not even as good as that guy. It takes a lot of knowledge and is a huge risk. I am computer stupid, okay? I am old. I am 40 years old and computer stupid. I never had to really learn computers for the last decade because I had computer staff. I was an officer. I had a computer tech, and I can get around EAC with simple instructions. So it's not complex and it doesn't take skill. It takes somebody to figure it out and give you instructions, but you don't need to be like changing MAC addresses and all that shit. It's simple instructions, literally. Here's how you do it. Chick, 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 chick. EAC is not very good at stopping people from cheating. Why it work in Korea then? If you scam a player, you can go to a court of law. Yes, because that is, see, here's the difference. Why do people always say that? It's like, do you guys actually like research the stuff you say before you actually say it? Like, I'm just wondering. You just said you can't change your MAC address. Just Google, just for educational purposes. Google spoof your MAC address and just follow the instructions. You're good to go. There's another guy, what's his name? Pox was in here. Pox was in here once, and people were talking. I wish he would stop by. I hate when he fucks with me with that goddamn follow bot. But when he's here, it's awesome because nobody ever challenges him because he is a technical expert. He's a computer securities expert. People are like, you can't change your MAC address. He's like, bullshit. Yes, I can. Like, he's the guy that knows how to do it. There's some techie people in here. If you want to explain it, great. But yes, you most certainly can. It's very easy for an anti-cheat tool to detect the existence. Yeah. Why work in Korea? The phone system is attached to an ID. Yeah. See, the thing in Korea is this. Here's what happens in Korea. Yes, I'm okay with random unrelated questions. I may not answer them, but I'm okay with them. In Korea, if you get caught cheating in any game, all the companies share ban lists. So if you get caught and you get banned, you may make it impossible to play. You may make it impossible to play several games that are coming out, or you may lose your account at several games. So that's why in Korea people don't cheat as much. They don't exploit as much. Because yes, now do Korean people give each other their cell phones or let each other make accounts? Yes, they do. However, at the same time, video gaming is more accepted and encouraged in the Korean culture. Those guys hang out in internet cafes playing MMOs. So you're obviously not cheating in the cafe, right? Because that would be silly. Oh, which one isn't locked? One of these isn't locked. Oh, all these. So they're obviously not cheating in their internet cafes. Because guess what? If you get caught cheating in the internet cafe, not only do you get reported and banned, you get banned from the cafe. And they share ban lists as well. So, yeah, there's a reason why. I've said, in an ideal world, in a true ideal world, what would happen is you have to have a license to drive a car. In a lot of states in America, you have to have a license, a permit, an ID to own a gun. Not all, some. It would be nice if in order to be an online gamer, you had to register. The problem is that no company, no organization wants the responsibility of housing your private personal information, your personal privacy information. Because if they have a breach of your data, they get sued into oblivion. If you guys haven't been following, one of the 3 major credit unions had a breach and is going to end up having to pay out the ass because they had a data breach. So, no video game. You notice that video game companies don't ask you for your social security number? Number one, they can't. I mean, I guess they could, but they're not supposed to. But number two, they don't want to house that information. If you start having video game companies hosting your social security information, that just becomes a cracker's wet dream of like, oh, I'm stealing information now. You'd also make it so that kids wouldn't be able to play it. You'd have to have 18 and up games. So, what's a good NA server with some land? I don't know. The 2 new ones? What are the 2 new ones in NA? I don't go looking for land. I can look for, I mean, I saw land available in Kalen and a couple of places left. Kalen's pretty much gotten established. Runert and Jurgen, right? Lots of Korean games require you to register your ID. Not so much anymore, to my knowledge. I knew it was that way until several years ago, and now they make you register a Korean phone number. A Korean phone number can only be gotten with a Korean ID. But even then, I mean, even then you have people that you can borrow their, you can borrow, Korean people's ID to make your account. You have construction rate veteran. Let's see. Have you bought level 2? Not are you at 20,000, but have you gone to 20,000 and bought it? Log out, log back in. Because yeah, I know the construction's working right. My alts only cost whatever 255. So I know the proficiency buff's working for my alt, and I don't make tech certs at my own. I don't make tech certs at my own Scarecrow. What's hilarious is the new servers get matched up against Archeage servers in Halcyon Wars. Well, they can't be 3K guys versus 8K guys because it's 4K to get in. But yes, it's 4K versus 8K, which is stupid. Which is yet another thing that got ruined By cheaters. By cheaters. I'm sorry, by not exploiters. That's like my 14-year-old daughter's not boyfriend. But yeah. Yeah, people that say I didn't like when people say I didn't exploit, innocent people aren't gonna sit there and innocent people aren't gonna be sitting there expressing their innocence. Innocent people are normally gonna be the people who just get fed up with you and are like, okay, whatever, man, believe what you believe. Looked at what you recommended, and that's not changing your Mac. Here, ask Fen. Fen is there. And even, regardless, if you can spoof your MAC address, all I know is this. Because I don't know what I don't know. But what I do know is, you can get around DAC only having one account up at a time. Nobody admits they exploit. Yeah, there are people that will admit that they, there are people that will admit they exploit. There are people who admit that they exploit and they don't give a shit. They're like, yep, I cheat. Shit, man. Pox, he doesn't give a shit. He runs the guys that run those cheat programs, they don't give a shit. Zavage admitted, I don't know if he did or not. I don't, like I said, I do my show. I do a different type of show than most people do. And now that I'm not doing this for money, now that I have to double check, but my show shouldn't be able to make any money. I don't give a fuck if, you know, if people want to cheat, cheat. If at the end of the day, okay, if at the end of the day, your self-worth is so low, okay? If your self-worth is so low that in order to feel good about yourself, you have to cheat at a video game, then cool. So, old fat gamer, he cheats every day, had a bagel for breakfast, doubled down at lunch, and had a pizza. Pizza's not actually bad for you, unless it's really, really greasy. Pizza's actually pretty good for you, overall wise, as long as you're eating the serving size of pizza, which is usually one slice. What gets most of us is you're eating like 5 pieces of pizza, and that's not good for you. Let me see. I got about 8 farms, 2 thatched, 1 normal, but I can't find any profitable way to make gold out of it. Larders are not good. I planted trees, but lumber isn't good money. Am I using it wrong? Right now, land isn't worth it because it's easier to just go into the library. It's easier to just go into the library and make gold than it is to own land. Nothing is bad for you in moderation. True, absolutely. It comes to me served in a box. I thought the box was the serving size. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's the problem. Like, popcorn. Popcorn. I love the Halloween. Fuck. I love the holiday popcorn from, Walmart. Absolutely love that brand. A couple of years ago, they changed the brand and it pissed me off. Absolutely love that brand. The problem is my wife buys me a tin of it, and I eat. Yeah, the caramel corn. That's what gets me. But my wife buys me a tin of it. I eat the whole damn tin in 2 days. Well, that's not good. Then I gotta go run more. But life is good. Everything's fine in moderation. Like, I had a soda, and I had a headache, so I had a soda, and then unfortunately I've like got the taste for it back. But tea, I didn't have soda today. Like, you can have a soda every now and then. It's easier if you just don't, because then you don't have the taste for it. You can have a soda every now and then. Everything's good for you in moderation. New exploit? No new exploits. Would I consider the world boss situation cheating? Okay. Would I consider the world boss situation cheating? Yes. Did Gamigo say it's not cheating? Yes. So do I consider the people who use the world boss thing cheaters? No. because the higher level of authority said we don't consider it an exploit, so it's not an exploit. There's not a lot there's not a lot I can say. If the company comes out and makes a statement it's not an exploit, all I can do is show you where the company could have said it was an exploit and then just move on. I mean, one thing that I try to share with people, I try to share like real life stuff with people during my show as well as video game stuff. There's the negotiation tactic of ACL. Accept it, change it, or leave. Every single time you're faced with a decision, decisions really get boiled down to like the lowest level. A lot of people overcomplicate decisions. You're faced with something that you don't like. Accept it, change it, or leave. So the situation of Archeage Unchained, you accept it. You accept that there are people who are ahead of you who will always be ahead of you. You change it. You go to a different server and hope that you can catch up and get away from the cheaters. Or you leave. You quit playing Archeage Unchained. Those are really your only options. You know, there's no reason, and there's actually no benefit to getting pissed off about it. Just recognize that there are people who took advantage of situations. They're ahead. They're gonna stay ahead. And when people say, "Oh, well, they're not gonna stay ahead because," stop. If everything else is equal, and if you're ahead, you're gonna stay ahead. The only way that those people aren't gonna stay ahead is if they stop playing, and then that's when you make up the difference in inches. Like they don't play for 3 days. They go on vacation. Well, you have 3 days of catch up you can do. The problem is they're so far ahead, you may not easily be able to ever catch up to them. It's an exploit that in the end it's not an exploit because it's an exploit that in the end is not an exploit because some CEO said, yeah, it's an exploit. It's an exploit, but it's not because they said so. I actually started using caffeine sodas as headache treatment since my corpsman told me to use caffeine to help release stress headaches because it naturally thins the blood. Yeah, caffeine, believe it or not, you, look at the bottom of, like, Excedrin, migraine. Half of the tablet is just a caffeine tablet. If the soft caps on systems are harsh enough, you can catch up. Yeah, but the problem is they're not. They're not. What was the world boss exploit? The fact that you could generate like 600 or more gold a day if you were level 55 within like a day or two, and then all your arc pass was giving you was a 50 gold quest to kill a world boss. And then, you know. Yeah, your example about people got ahead when 100-mile-an-hour cars were available. Yeah, it was like the problem is that they said go at the start of a race, and a bunch of people went, and then they said stop, and everybody sat down, and then they said, okay, we acknowledge that only half of you heard go, so what we're going to do is we're going to restart the race from where you're at. And you're like, but that doesn't help me catch up. Yeah, we'll just run faster. Now, when it comes to certain things, the ancestral level, you will eventually catch up on the ancestral levels, because I think going from level 40 to, or going, where the hell's the chart? I have the chart. Let me grab the PowerPoint. You will eventually catch up to people on ancestral levels, because going from level 39 to 40 is 914 million, and going from level 40 to 41 is 2 billion. So you basically, when somebody gets to ancestral 40, or when somebody gets to ancestral 39 going to 40 to 41, 2 billion XP is more XP than it's going to take you to go from ancestral 1 to ancestral 40. So yeah, when you get to that soft cap, you'll catch up. But a lot of the other ones, eventually they'll get capped at 55. Yeah, well, nobody's ever going to hit ancestral 55. I mean, that's 16 billion XP. That's just going to take forever. that is just going to take forever. As I move into closing up my show today, I can't believe we've already done almost 3 hours. Actually, we've done more than 3 hours. I started a little bit early. I do want to remind people of something real world-wise. And what I mean by that is a lot of you use PayPal, and we're moving into the holiday shopping systems. And I want to remind you guys, when you use PayPal, there's a lot of scummy companies out there that when you go into your PayPal and you make a purchase, they like to add themselves onto your automatic payment people for ease of convenience. Well, there's no reason for them to do that. They don't need to put themselves on your automatic repayment people. You can simply reauthorize them the next time you want to make a purchase. Gamigo happens to be one of these companies. If you didn't know that, if you used have used PayPal with Gamigo, they've automatically authorized themselves onto your PayPal. So make sure that during the holiday season, after you get done making your holiday purchases for the day, if you're not on a regularly scheduled payment program with a company, make sure that you go into your settings in PayPal, go into automatic payments, and take everybody off that you don't want to be able to rebill you. Just friendly advice, especially Gamigo. There's no reason for them. If there's no monthly subscription, I don't know why they would need to be. It's like, oh, well, you're just going to buy credits, so we're going to put ourselves on your automatically approved list. Nope, that's okay. If I want to buy credits, I'll reapprove you. It's cool. You don't use PayPal? That's cool. Make sure you check your credit card statement every day. That's a big one too. Check your credit card statement every single day around the holidays. I know it's a pain in the ass. It takes 2 seconds. From a guy that's had his identity stolen way too many times. I've had my identity stolen 3 times, and it's odd because I have credit monitoring services that are there to make sure my credit doesn't get stolen, but my credit or my identity still gets stolen. But yeah, I go through my credit card bill pretty much every day just to make sure. It is a whole lot easier if you catch it and you can call your credit card company and say, hey, this isn't me. It's a whole lot better in the end if you catch that and your credit card company knows that. Even though most companies, you're never obligated. Yeah, Experian Credit Monitoring settled in a class action suit, which is kind of funny because they owe me a bunch of money. Anyway, oh shit, I need to change the server tag. Thanks for that. Is it worth playing Archeage Unchained if you really don't care about PvP and getting maxed gear? Unfortunately, I'm going to say no. If you don't like PvP, no, this isn't Kadum. I have to change the command. If you don't like PvP, Archeage Unchained is probably not for you. There are much better PvE games out there. I mean, I'm not... Archeage is all about Archeage is all about the PvP. Yep, there we go. Archeage is all about the PvP. All right, what I'm gonna do is I still have a pile of money that came in after I had to stop streaming. So Kadum is misspelled another instance that gives labor, but Tower Siege batted. Did I already try the new Archeage Battle Royale? Nope. Why did I leave? Why did I close my bot? Alright. So, it's the holiday season. I like giving away money. And I have money to give away. I'm going to give away a $10 gift card to either Steam or Amazon. As always, if it's Amazon, I'll give it to you right away. And then I'm going to go. If it's Steam, it'll probably be Tuesday or Wednesday. They're kind of slow unlocking people. So, I'm just gonna do something simple. Da-da-da. Gift card. Gift card's your keyword. Hopefully, start giving away money. I'm going to tell you guys all this story again. Told it at the beginning of the show. While you all are slamming gift card and nobody can read anything anyway. Oh, I may have spelt Kaylin wrong. Did I? Anyway, people ask me where I was all this time. If I had died. And no, I didn't die. The problem is, I started making too much money streaming. And so I had to get lawyers involved. And the problems... oh, I see it. I spelled it wrong. I'll fix that. The problem is, when you start making money, you always need to put the horse first and then the cart. And unfortunately, what I did is I put the horse before the cart. And I didn't get this set up right. And so when I started making money, I had to get the lawyer involved. And I said, hey, how do I do this as a taxable entity so that this doesn't affect me and it just affects the company? And the lawyer was like, you can't. This isn't a hobby anymore. You're making more than hobby money, so you have to pay taxes on it. I said, that's cool. I'll pay taxes on it. And then my lawyer was like, yeah, but you can't have a job. And I was like, but I don't have a job. And my lawyer was like, no, you do. You have a job. I was like, okay. I said, how do we fix this? And my lawyer said, you can't. So my lawyer sat down with a bunch of other people, tried to figure out how to set this up. And unfortunately, in my specific situation, I'm retired. I take a lot of painkillers, which is why I can't work, because I don't think companies want me coming in high on coding. It just doesn't work really well. But what happens is that apparently, is that why I can't have a job? No, I have a pin in my shoulder, and I got retired from the military due to unemployability. I couldn't do my job anymore because I have to chew narcotic painkillers all the time. I'm on disability. Yes, I am medically retired. I am not normally retired. I wish I could have just normally retired. Would have made my life easier. But because I'm normally retired, or I'm medically retired, it raises the question of, if I can be working on this, why can't I be at a desk? You know, why can't I be at a desk for the military? Well, I didn't say I couldn't. They all did. It becomes a nightmare. Yeah, total disability based on individual unemployability. Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about when I say, how can I be on individual unemployability? How can I be on individual unemployability if I'm making more than the poverty line a year from tips and donations? And then I had to sit down with them, and I said, look, I give all the money back to my community, and I'm going to roll this in just a second. I said, I don't want the money. I want to pay the tax. I want to give Uncle Sam their cut. So I want to have a taxable entity. And they said, yeah, no. You had 8 automatic thingies on your PayPal. Didn't know it was a thing. Deactivated them all. Thanks. Hey, so there you go. I'll roll this in about 40 seconds. But, so yeah, so the problem is that even the IRS was cool about it, and they said it's not a hobby because you've chosen to monetize your videos in your Twitch. And I said, but I don't do anything to They said, no, just turning on monetization qualifies as you wanting it to be a job. And I said, well, that's some bullshit. But yeah, I'm not going to win that fight, right? So I've got a couple of ideas. It's just going to take longer. I demonetized my Twitch. I demonetized my YouTube channel. They're still going to show ads. I just don't get the money. And then hopefully soon. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Drum 12. Are you here, Drum? Hopefully Drum's here. Hopefully. Drum, send me a PM. Makes my life easier if you do that. Where's that going to pop up, though? Oh, it's going to pop up here. There we go. I can probably do it. Now that I see it. Now that I don't have stuff covering it. Let's see how... Drum 12. Drum 12. Drum, you should have gotten a PM for me. I said I don't like that they don't show. I PM'd you on Twitch. Should be a little icon in your bottom of your screen. Hi. There we go. Would you like an Amazon gift card or a Steam gift card? It's like decisions, decisions, decisions. Okay. I will not repeat your email address out loud, but I will send this to you right now. Google Sheets and Amazon. Just need an email address from our winner. Send this out. Start that. But yeah, so anyway. Total nightmare. So any streamers out there, I do have a little series called Getting Started with Streaming. If you're gonna be doing this for a business, you're gonna try to make money, definitely sit down. Definitely sit down and make sure that you understand that when you become a streamer, you become a business. And you have to pay, if you're American, I don't know how it is in the rest of your countries. If you start making money, you have to pay self-employment tax and all that other bullshit. And if you don't, then you're breaking the law and they're going to do horrible things to you. So, yeah, if you're self-employed, you must also pay your taxes quarterly after your first year. And then it's all bullshit because you're like, I don't know how much I'm going to make. If you're not making a ton, then you just throw it on as miscellaneous 1099 income. But once you start making too much, and if you don't give them their cut, they're going to get pissed. And that's never a good day. Da-da-da. Boom, boom, boom. Add to cart. Oh, she heard me. She heard me. Yeah, somebody's answered that question for you. Any class combination, let's like Chanter from Aeon. Yeah, anything with Suncraft. Boom, that's done. That's sent. You should have that momentarily. Patreon's still up? Yeah. My Patreon is still up. Yeah, somebody was able to subscribe to me, and unfortunately, I need to put an annotation that subs don't come to me. Subs are gonna go to Twitch, and I don't understand how the fuck that happens, but I don't make any money on subs or bits. I'm demonetized. I'm not an affiliate anymore. And our winner says he got it, so there we go. Minus 10. And that's sent. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Get ready to take my daughter out to dinner when she gets home. My other daughter is tumbling. I am going to be back sometime next week. I don't know what my stream schedule is going to look like right now. I am going to be working on a video for that initial starter gear. That's what I started today with this character. I want to do a video on that gear. A lot of people are having problems with it. A lot of people aren't understanding it. I am still doing Archeage 101, the website, slowly. The nice part about not streaming is I am teaching myself a little bit of HTML. Hopefully, in the future, I don't need to be on a Wix website. I can have better looking stuff. Until then, guys, you take care. If you need to, you can join my Discord. Oh, I need to fix that other thing. You can join my Discord. There are lots of friendly people there. Get answers almost 24 hours a day, which is 23 hours and 59 minutes more a day than you get answers from Gamigo. I won't necessarily always have the answers you want, but at least I show up and try. With that said, I will see you guys next time, sometime next week, and take care. Till then.